Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an episode of Death's Curios, our weekly Unhallowed Metropolis game here on Encounter Roleplay. So last session, a hell of a lot happened. London has had its streets bathed in blood. It seems that everything is going downhill. VerRuckt is about to be taken in for his trial for murders that he had a part in committing. And it seems Magdalena has gone far, far too off that edge. So, we'll be going to a very, very quick trailer on our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you to introduce all of our players and then get right into the game where we last left off. So I'll see you all very soon.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
And hello, everybody. So welcome back. We're going to go around and introduce each of our players in today, which in this case is important, as one of us has made a switch of character temporarily. And then we'll get right into things. So we'll start the opposite way from usual and go with Dr. VerRuckt.
I am Greybeard of Greybeard Tavern, and today I'll be playing Dr. VerRuckt, the steampunky scientist of all the scientists, I guess. He's got a hint of all the science. That's him.
That he does, and it's good to have him back. And Tilly Griffiths.
Hi, I'm Humble 6. I'll be playing Tilly Griffiths, the rather vexed, I think. Vexed is a good word. Vexed detective who is watching the world and her beloved, kind of beloved home and city crumble around her. And an airship's just landed in her cousin's back garden. And a notorious con artist and criminal's just gotten off of it. Just a regular London morning, really.
Just about. And speaking of everything being fine, Lilith, welcome back.
Yeah, yes, everything's fine now that I'm not in New York. So hi, I'm Lindy, and I will be playing Lilith, my character from our other Unhallowed Metropolis campaign that we finished season 2 of a few weeks back, because they're in the same world, and we were taking an airship back to London, so happy coincidence that we landed just now. Lilith is a con artist and has been offered to join a guild of vampire hunters, even though she has very little actual combat ability. And she is an albino with an evil eye and a heck of a lot of amnesia. So that should be most of the backstory you need for her. Just as she's popping in, it's fine.
Definitely. And speaking of popping in, Delilah.
Why, speaking of popping in? Anyways, so yes, I am Delilah Berkeley, wife of Ned Berkeley, who is, possessed / controlled by the now very, very far gone Magdalena's boyfriend. This feels like a bit like a soap opera if I start talking about the connections to each other. She's happy. She's fine. The reputation of her husband's name is being dragged through some blood right now. Not a great time, but that is okay because Delilah has decided on the perfect place for the second date for Tilly and Lucifer, should they ever have that conversation ever again, eventually after Tilly gets over her vexation. So, Oh, and I have a petition. I petition to make the corgi a corgi whale so he may run on. I will bring it up later.
It's a good thing to bring up. And speaking of somebody who definitely doesn't have a need for a corgi wheel, Miss Fairchild, welcome back. You missed a lot last session. It's going to be quite the time for you.
I caught up yesterday. That was a thing that happened. Wow, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, screaming at the television, as you do. So hi, I'm Shakespeare, and I'm playing Miss Fairchild, who is a mourner slash babysitter at the moment because she's been in an attic with her son and her friend's son, probably like going slightly insane as these two very, very young but very intelligent children, probably slightly smarter than her, tell her everything about what they're working on, and she nods and smiles and doesn't understand a word of it while trying to get them to go to bed. Go to bed!
Understandable. And so just before we get right into the game today, would like to mention a few things as well. So we are proudly sponsored by World Anvil, so go and check out that site. I will be posting a little thing in the chat soon for you to go and check that out, and there may be some bits coming up soon in relation to this campaign as well, so keep an eye on there and we'll see what pops up for you. And aside from that also, Encounter Roleplay have the first look at the new Dishonored tabletop RPG coming very, very soon, so definitely keep your eyes out on that because that's coming very soon. Is a very, very exciting thing. So yeah, definitely catch for that. But with that said, we will get right into session. So last session we ended as a strange small airship came down into the garden. For most of you, the first ever time you've seen anything of its sort or even imagined it. For some of you, this strange contraption. You've seen guests getting off. You've seen many people being led away. Ned took an engineer from the ship away with him to go and have a discussion elsewhere. And you had a strange pale-haired lady with very strange violet eyes make their way towards you. And that's about where we left off, as you were all chatting in the gardens in the early morning. The ship still sort of idly smoking in the background. It seems something's gone horribly wrong with it.
I'll leave the smoldering ship and the engineer to my husband, who probably actually cares a bit more. I just look forlornly at my ruined garden before a moment of silence before turning back to Greek, not Magdalena. That name is actually throwing me off. Lilith.
I'm sorry, I can't change it.
And I'll be like, we do need to get you changed. I believe I mentioned that before.
I'm sorry I'm such a mess. The airship, we've been calling it that, it takes quite a toll on the aesthetic.
We're calling it an airship too. Well, Ned actually coined the term, but hey, are we allowed to go into a crime scene, Tilly?
I'd say no, but if they're finished,
are they finished? Let's go check. Okay,
if they're finished, then sure. Can I just have a word with
Go to check. They seem to have been done with it quite quickly. Even looking over, you can see it's all cleaned up.
Did you want who are you talking to? Yes, we could do it after Lilith's. Oh yeah, sure. You can follow us while I get her changed. Oh my goodness, what lovely hair you have! What's your conditioner? Just like fawning over her. She's like so impressing.
I just before we go, I don't want to time this morning. Okay, right. Well,
oh, come along, Tilly. We could talk before we go.
I need to just have a word with you in private, please. It won't take long.
All right. Do you mind waiting just one moment, dear?
I've been windswept for days. It's fine. I can wait a few more moments.
Oh yes, your hair does have that lovely windswept kind of look. Anyway, I'll just kind of like touch her back over to Tilly. Sorry, she's rather striking, and I can't help it when I see something pretty. I just want to dress them up. Yes.
I know. And she just gently steers her away. Listen to me. The lady that you seem to be enamored with right now is a notorious con artist and thief. They will flex you.
Yes, I've heard of something like that.
Thank goodness. Just be careful is all I'm asking, all right? I can't watch your back today as much as I'd like to.
I'm sure she's fine. Besides, you know what they say, beauty never lies, and she's quite beautiful.
Yes, and I know she knows how to wield that like a weapon, Miss Berkeley.
And so do I. What's the problem?
That is an entirely set of I don't know. That doesn't right. I have a favor to ask you. Can I borrow a ring?
A ring? Any ring?
Yeah. You wear very nice rings. It doesn't really matter.
I just kind of idly look at what I'm like, look at my left hand. I probably have a couple on. I was like, well, this one Ned gave me on our 3-month anniversary. This one's the one for our engagement. This one is because of our half-a-year anniversry. You know what? I don't like that half-year anniversary.
I don't mind if it's just the cheapest one you have or the one with the least sentimental value. It will be back to you by the end of the day.
I'll give you this one. She just very casually plucks off the lapis lazuli and pearl one and just drops it. It's platinum.
Right, excellent. She just turns around to make sure it fits her finger correctly.
It fits. Good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you. I'll promise I'll try and return it to you as soon as possible. And
I gave you that one because I thought that it would match your eyes. Or bring some color to them, rather than, well.
That's very romantic. Thank you.
About romance, I did come up with a really good idea for your date, but you seem quite upset, so I'll wait.
Yes, I need to go and speak to the doctor. Save it for maybe tomorrow morning, or never. Tomorrow morning.
Did the doctor step outside?
He's over looking at. Yeah, he's looking at the airship, but he's got his hands kind of behind his back, and
I think while Tilly went to Delilah, Lilith would have gone over to the doctor.
All right. Hello.
Oh, hello. Quite an big science-y contraption thing, I see.
Yeah, it is. Very
excuse
interesting.
me. Guten Tag. Ich heiße Lilith, und du?
And he falls right into German with you.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you today? He seemed very awkward, like.
I'm doing well. I just couldn't help but notice that you have remarkably similar features to myself in certain ways. Sorry if that's quite implied.
There are not many of us albinos. It is genetic. And he starts to go into the science of albinism.
Yes. Genetic, like families, yes? Sometimes?
Yeah, somewhat.
Interesting. Yes. Do you speak Russian by any chance? Curiosity.
He kind of is taken aback, and that is a very odd question. And he thinks about getting out his notebook and starting, basically a session with it. And he refrains and he says, "No, I speak the Queen's English and some Latin."
I see. I'm just trying to. I'm looking for someone, you see, related to myself. Speaks Russian and German and English. Goes by the name of Anastasia. She wasn't sure. Heard of
Can I make a history check to figure who?
Yeah, you can make a history check. Sure.
All right.
She's from someplace very cold.
17.
It rings a bell, but Anastasia from somewhere really cold, that's a broad thing. It's not the most rare name ever.
Russia, maybe?
It's a more detail, a surname, maybe?
Lady Anastasia? I have a book on the subject matter, but unfortunately I don't read Russian. So it's evading me a bit.
I fear I will be no assistance in this matter.
I see.
On the other hand, Doctor, as you're looking over them, could you give me a quick medicine check?
Perfect. I was just about to check out her eye if
she's got a really. It's one eye is normal and purple, and the other one is the pupil is in the shape of a star.
Nice. That's amazing.
Okay, and on your 24, not only do you notice the strange eye, which you don't find many reasons why it could be that way. Like, the fact that it's a bit off is fine, but the fact that it's specifically a weird star is freaking you out a little bit. But In addition to that, you notice a few other things about them. They look a little sickly, yet still full of energy, both at the same time. They look alive and sick. Something's going on. They've got slight sweats, and with your 24, they seem to have some sort of, maybe an infection of some sort. They're fevering slightly.
If I may, I am a doctor, and
oh, like, thank goodness! I was going to be one of those later. That's quite remarkable. Hello, Doctor
VerRuckt. Pleasure meeting you.
You're a doctor of medicine, yes?
And
because I've met several in the past few days that had nothing to do with medicine, and yet they still called themselves doctors. So.
Of medicine and galvanics and parapsychology and psychology.
I believe just the doctor I need then. I have had a time.
Yes, I believe you seem to have some kind of infection.
Yes.
And possibly a fever.
Yes, I think I would like to schedule an appointment with you at some point, perhaps. Yeah, if you go to touch her forehead, she doesn't. Blinker.
Well, he starts to with his left hand and realizes that it's a ceramic, a fake hand, and then uses his right and touches. And does she have a fever?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you should.
She's burning up.
You should definitely, at some point, as soon as possible.
Yes.
Yes. And meanwhile, across the way, Miss Fairchild, there's a lot of commotion outside. You can hear it from the room that you've been staying in. You've been looking over the kids for the last evening. You've made sure they're safe and sound. They have been more than happy, though upon hearing the strange noises outside, you do see that Teddy seems to perk up a bit.
Stay in your bed. And we'll go and find out what's happening.
Very well. It just sounds like one of Papa's inventions has arrived.
It may have. It's still too late for you to be up there, so stay in your bed.
It's morning, he says, and just looks confused.
Oh, I thought it was still like in the middle of the night. Sorry.
Are you okay, Miss Fairchild? Says Teddy as he looks at you. Are you quite well?
It's been a long night, and some of us haven't slept. Very well, just then down to breakfast, I suppose, wherever we're having it today. And she'll open the trapdoor and let them out
of the hatch.
Lord Marriott's attic, aren't we in?
Yeah, you're in Lord Marriott's attic still. And you go through the entire area, and you do find that indeed down below there is breakfast already set. It seems to have been sort of picked at by people before they've all left, and the tea still steams, the food is still hot as the two children sit down and begin to eat and feast. And outside, indeed, you do see a strange, almost small boat-looking thing. And a lot of strange individuals leaving, including a very pale-haired lady currently talking to Dr. VerRuckt. And also, you see what seems to be a very large gentleman stood very awkwardly in the middle of the garden, wearing full Death Watch armor, but it looks a bit off.
Boys, stay here. Havelock, if anyone comes inside, you both get under the table. All right. I will head outside to find out what is happening.
And you head outside, and this is about the time that your conversation rounds up, Magdalena, Lilith. I'm going to keep doing that as well. And Delilah and Tilly, you've got your ring. Your conversation has ended around the same time.
What time is it, DM?
It's around 6:30 a.m. at the minute.
Okay. All right, got plenty of time. That's good.
Very early. You've got plenty of time until VerRuckt's got to be shipped away. About an hour and a half until VerRuckt has to be shipped away.
That's good. Yeah, she'll make her way over to Miss Fairchild then. Good. Well, greetings.
Good morning. What is this?
They call it an airship. It flew here, apparently. I recognize my own inferiority when it comes to these things. I have no idea what's going on.
Lord Berkeley had something to do with this, didn't he?
Yes. And there is she just looks over to Lilith. a rather interesting acquaintance in the garden that Miss Berkeley is taking quite a shine to. And there's a lot going on right now. How are the children? Are you all right? Did you sleep okay? Have you eaten?
They slept fine. They're both eating breakfast. And Miss Fairchild will definitely have swiped any kind of cake that was on the table.
And got a couple little bits, some tarts.
Yeah, as she's heading out into the garden. So she has, like, and she kind of offers a slightly picked at cake to Mrs. Griffiths. Like, there's breakfast. So.
Yes, I'm not really in the mood for food, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Have you eaten this morning, Miss Griffiths?
I had some tea, and it had sugar in it.
Have you eaten food that isn't liquid?
Fighting fit. No,
Take
but after hearing the news. Okay, right. Yes, I am not arguing with you today. Thank you. She just eats the cake a little bit awkwardly.
Yep.
Do you have a plan for today, or?
I have no plans at the moment, given what we witnessed yesterday. I have no idea where to go from here. That was...
Did you not hear the news?
News?
You don't know. The town criers this morning.
No, the attic is rather well insulated, it seems.
Right. There was a slaughter last night.
Well, yes, we were there.
No, another one. It seems, and my theory is, Lord Archie was not done and took his queen with him and made a strike against many noble families. Can you not hear them now?
This complicates things.
Yes. Miss Fairchild, can I count on you to stand with me?
Of course, Miss Griffiths.
Thank you. Right, I have a doctor to prepare, so... Good morning. Thank you for the breakfast.
You're quite welcome. I'm certain you'll need the energy.
Wait, have you got a slice of that pie? It's a little bit more.
And as you say that, almost immediately, like a gentleman sort of on a bike pedals down in his gas mask and pulls off a pie from the back of his bike and goes, "Your daily pie, miss."
Getting rather alarming, but thank you.
It shouldn't be alarming. You won the prize. Right, I've got a few more
And
deliveries
you found
to make.
me here where no one outside of this household knew what it was. How?
Oh, we always know where to deliver our pies.
Yes, just carry on. It's deeply
Says and-
unsettling. Thank you.
It's just riding away on his creaky bike again.
That is some excellent detective work if I've ever seen some.
It's definitely something. Would you like some pie?
Yes, I think of all the days to have cocaine-laced pie, today is the day. She says, taking a slice and making her way over to Dr. VerRuckt.
No problem. You feel much better. It perks you up. You feel pretty good about the day.
I'm developing a crippling addiction to this pie, and I'm okay with it today.
I will follow while eating my own
If
slice
you
of
had any
pie.
reduced vitality, you gain 1 vitality back.
Yay!
So those of you who had 0, if you eat the pie, you'll have 2. As you had a night's rest, and I'll give you 1 for that much.
I didn't have a night's rest. I stayed up all night watching 2 small children.
We'll say you had a night's rest for the sake of not killing you in a moment. Accept your goddamn vitality.
I accept.
Oh my
I
gosh.
want you to have a chance.
Miss Lilith, I fear my time is short. If you would like my expert opinion on your health, we should
please.
probably excuse ourselves somewhere and take care of it.
Oh, I don't mind if we do it here, but we can do it elsewhere.
Do you mind if
as you break
do her
out of your
hair?
conversation?
If I do her hair while doing this, do you mind if I do that? I kind of just pop over immediately as soon as Tilly's gone.
As long as you don't need my hair, Doctor.
I do not believe so. Let us excuse ourselves to the parlor.
Oh, thank goodness. I need some time for some levity.
Doctor, are you going?
I was going to take care of this woman is sick.
Right. Well, if that takes priority, can I have a word with you after, please?
Magdalena, could you make me a streetwise check, please?
Magdalena.
Not Magdalena. Lilith. Goddamn, I
Yes,
keep on
what?
saying the name because I'm street.
Second
It will be
grade.
changed
I
in the next
can-
session, don't worry.
I can make you a streetwise check. I know. Off the top Charlie.
No, it's good. It's good.
Streetwise.
I've
18.
I just can't update it right now, unfortunately. But yeah, on an 18. So you have a think, and you immediately recognise the detective, Tilly Griffiths, cat extraordinaire. Found
yes,
cats,
cat
dogs, all
detective.
sorts of different things. A very nice lady. You know her house address. You've already clocked where she is a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
A good person.
All right. So you need cats recently, Miss Griffiths?
No, I found myself in the possession of a dog instead. I'm trying to change my image, Miss Lilith.
Oh, well. So you're just a bit sore.
Sorry to hear you're in ill health. I'm sure the excellent doctor will get you back in spirits in no time.
It should be nothing too terribly awful. I just got a nasty bite from something. It's just a slight infection.
Right. She takes a small step back.
Not animate.
Right?
I'm thinking animate.
Sure.
It's not
Can you give me a
animate.
forensic science check,
How
please,
big is
Tilly?
something?
It
Sure.
wasn't animate.
I-
About this whole biting thing, because there's somebody fresh on my mind that bites very much. Does she actually have particular marks on her neck that
So,
would look like?
speaking of, before you look, Tilly, with your forensic science check, your eyes do immediately go to the neck, to sort of the nape of, and you do notice there is a bite mark there. Seems quite fresh.
Right. Doctor,
Yes.
just a quick word before your consultation. It won't take long.
I'll
begin-
just take Miss Lilith over then. I'll just kind of grab her,
Of course.
bring her into my parlor.
Yeah, I'll take her
Do so.
arm like a noble lady would.
Watching
can
Lilith
stroll off.
go, because I'm just stood with Miss Griffiths watching Lilith go.
Oh,
Do I
it's
get
quite a
anything on
show.
my spook, am I?
On your spookamai, you get a weird reading. You don't necessarily see that Lilith herself is any sort of creature, but you see almost the signs or the touch of multiple different strange creatures.
I'm mainly
auras
just
near.
making sure that when I look at her, I don't see the same thing I see when I look at Magdalena.
No, not at all.
Okay, it's a different
But you
thing.
see,
Okay.
you see sort of a very light, almost a wisp of that, as if it hasn't taken sort of its seat yet, so to speak. It hasn't grounded itself there, but it is at a risk to.
Then there's weird eye energy, and
Yeah, there's
then
weird eye
there's
energy.
a weird other energy. There's a few weird things going on.
I just kind of close my eyes, like that woman's going to give me a headache.
Yes, Miss Fairchild, I'm sorry to prolong your headache, but perhaps you can accompany Miss Berkeley and make sure that our new guest isn't going to do anything untoward.
Oh, Lady
course.
Berkeley,
And I will follow them.
would you mind if my
Yes?
good friend Francis steps inside? I'd hate for him to be standing out in your garden like an obelisk.
You see a massive man. He is well over 6 foot. He is probably one of the largest gentlemen you've ever seen. He is freakishly large, very broad. He is a tank of a gentleman, and he's wearing full, heavy, very heavy Deathwatch gear, full helmet on as well, but there's none of the symbols of the Deathwatch upon it. They all seem to have been scratched off or peeled off. But he stands very awkwardly.
He's a sweet lad. Wouldn't hurt to
I have
fly.
a question.
Yes.
One?
No, yeah, well, actually, just yes. Does football exist yet in this weird timeline?
I believe it did, but it wasn't
so.
as big. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was a whole gut
In
thing,
America.
but yeah.
He'd be a rugby player.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, she just kind of looks back and
So
is
yeah,
like,
you see them.
I
They're stood
love
very
his
awkwardly.
physique.
The
It's
very large
marvelous,
man.
isn't it?
He's
No, it's
matched
like-
by a very large gun on his back as well. It's very much obviously unloaded. It is not a very pretty thing, and it is very obvious. He just stands awkwardly in the garden, the
Francis.
obelisk sort of blocking out the sun as you walk by him.
Delilah does
Take him
love
inside.
ostentatious, and this is very ostentatious, so
Right,
she's like,
are you sure about that? I mean, it seems
Oh,
a bit
yes.
posh.
Oh, Francis.
I'm the owner of
we were
this
in a
place.
posh
I just
house in
invited you.
York.
And she's
Right,
not posh, she's American.
Delilah looks very pleased. Yes, I
I
am.
think that'd be
Or
pretty
was.
funny if I knew what an American was.
Oh, right.
From this place that's across an ocean, I've heard.
Yes,
an
the
ocean?
New World.
It's a lot of water, just like
Big
the most water you've
water.
ever
Like-
seen in your life.
That's a lot of swimming.
I don't know. I've never seen it. Well, I don't
Right.
recall ever seeing it.
Well, I mean, this, this lovely
Your
lady here
accent
seems
says
to
you
have
don't.
seen it. What's an ocean like?
It's
Like the
salty and a lot of
Thames, only
water.
bigger.
Could I swim it?
No.
No,
I could probably swim it. He sort of considers it.
I just
And then
give him a
She
like,
looks him up and
smile
down
and then
and kind of
continue.
goes,
Yeah.
A little pat
just
him
gonna-
on the arm, very affectionately. She's super fond of him, and we'll
Yeah.
have him follow them inside.
Okay.
Yeah,
Follows,
I'm gonna
every
get
footstep
Lilith to,
shaking
like-
the area.
Yeah, I'll be very careful because there's some are there still some slightly delicate vases on any sort of pedestals left still, or has this place been completely raided?
It's been raided. The ballroom is bare. It has, however, been cleaned very thoroughly, but all of the valuables are also gone from the ballroom and also the entry room as well. It seems the police cleaned it up, kept it quiet, but also have stolen your things or confiscated them in the process.
Oh, I really, really hope Ned kept his really good, perfect memory because I don't know all the things that were here. He did. He used to put flour around the stuff to make sure that everything moved and it was perfect within the 1 millimeter. All right. Sorry. Magdalena. So, not Magdalena. Sorry. You just remind me of a friend that I.
Do I? I
Right.
get that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really charming, and well, we're quite not sure if our friendship is still intact at the moment.
Oh, how
Still,
dreadful.
let's proceed. I'm gonna see how much the police have stolen from my family. This will be
Oh,
quite interesting.
Sure,
She'll kind
you
of
can't
make her way
police a bit.
up to look around because we have the secret stash that no one else can get to. But
Oh, your
there's
secret stash
the
is
majority.
fine.
Yeah, because she's gonna make sure, she's gonna have a little glance over at the particular hidden entrance that no one else knows about, just to make sure it hasn't been touched yet. Yeah, she'll be like, okay. Ned won't totally freak out. He'll just
The only things that
freak
seem to
out.
be gone are the things that were not nailed down and were very obviously in the open. Vases, little bits of tapestries, things like that.
Yeah, what about my
Cutlery,
clothes when she goes
plates,
up?
vases. Your clothes are still there. They don't seem to have bothered searching the rest of the house. They seem to be in
just
quite the
borrow.
rush with their limited numbers and the amount of things going on there.
Yeah, she's just kind of sighs and just ugh. I never liked the police. Right.
It can be quite
Now,
a
take your
bother
pick,
at
dear.
times.
She just kind of opens wide the wardrobe.
And you do,
Oh,
and you begin
quite
your
such-
montage of trying on
She
clothes.
ignores
and-
everything that's red. You notice she
Yeah.
is distinctly just passes over anything red.
That's
she'll
like
sit a lot
half
if
of
you have anything-
Delilah's wardrobe. The rest
Yeah.
is like blues, greens, like deep colors because she likes deep colors.
I really love the image of me and Francis just stood at the back, kind of like the
Yeah.
boyfriends while girlfriends are trying on clothes at the mall.
Basically,
Just like,
how I see it as well.
How do you
Yeah.
think we look, Miss Fairchild? As I'm like
So-
unbuttoning my blouse and then
Your montage
oh, good
continues
Lord. And I just
as
push
you
Francis
Okay,
to
let me get
turn
this
him
button
around.
for you.
You do so, and he kind of
Oh,
goes.
yeah.
He's very pliable. He's a very pliable gentleman. It seems. You begin to push him out, and he just sort of moves with it as he goes out, and the absolute obelisk is led out of the room as you hear the rustling and the trying on of many dresses, and the montage of "Hey, how does this look?" goes on for a while. Meanwhile, Tilly, VerRuckt, what are you doing?
I'm beautiful. Hold on, so
If Miss Berkeley's efforts are anything as thorough as they were with me, they will be a while, and they will be in many states of undress, so it's probably best that you not go in for a while. Perhaps we should do all of our chatting now. Might we go
undress?
somewhere? They're getting dressed. They'll be changing clothes a lot.
Nakedness does not affect me in one way or the other. Let us
No,
speak.
but it would be rather difficult to inspect a patient when they're being used as a dress-up doll. I'm saying. Too much movement, very, very distracting. Please.
She is a very sick woman. I
Not the first
fear
to say
for her. I fear for her in supernatural ways, preternatural ways.
Did you see it as well, then?
She has signs of infection from unworldly creatures.
Yes, she has a bite on her neck. Quite a
amongst
large
others.
one. Right.
That's
Well, as long as you know, that was my main warning, that I'm not quite sure how these things work, but I'm sure bites transmit these sort of things. And I
Indeed.
didn't want you to walk into and get surprised. Not that I don't doubt your capabilities. I think you're brilliant, but you know, that's not really what I wanted to talk to you about. Well, it was at first, but not now. Are we in private? Yeah.
Relatively, you're in a garden. You're sort of near the house. There's no one around. You're in a private garden,
think-
so you know.
Right. She'll just take him and sort of sit on a stone bench. Have you thought much about your plan? About your case? About this today?
I feel that I should just tell the truth and
Good.
let the chips fall as they may.
Good. That is in line what I was thinking as well. I think the situation of London has changed dramatically overnight, and I think you can benefit from it in a very specific way. But you have to be honest.
Yes.
But I have to ask you. They'll ask you about what happened, and you know it was a mistake on your part, and that you were doing it for someone was in your way when you could see a horrible criminal getting away who'd done despicable things to children. And your actions had horrific consequences. And they're likely to ask you how you feel about that. And quite frankly, I don't know. I've never seen you regret it. I've never seen remorse from you, Doctor, and I don't know. Do you regret it?
So, from the time I was as a little boy, and as he begins to talk, we see like a dance hall, but the dance hall is a globe. We're like inside a snow globe, but the outside is an opera house or a dance hall, and he begins to speak about, from the time I was a little boy, I asked, why Why is the sky blue? Why does the river run? Why? And as we see this inside of the snow globe, we see like pairs of people. Some are dancing, some are like an animate eating someone. Over here, there's an Asian woman having a child, like in a field. There's a poor Indian individual being mauled by a tiger, and he says, "I have seen many, many things, and experienced horrors unimaginable, and I just believe that the world turns no matter what, and all we can do is ask why. I am still that boy, that little boy who asks why. So it's always another question. There's no time to regret. You must take the information you have and use it to move forward." And at that, the inside of the snow globe like folds itself outward, and we're back in the garden in his mind's eye.
I think you and I think very differently then, but that's okay. But when you're standing in front of the judge and jury, if that is what it's going to be, I don't know whether that sentiment will carry. Because people lost their lives and people lost their families. And not showing anything to that.
And he does, like, he swallows, and he's nodding along, and he swallows, and then he continues to listen. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Are you sure it's not because... And this is also something I can understand in a way. Are you sure it's not just because if you think for a moment that maybe you stop and reflect, that you won't be able to go on anymore?
And yeah, he turns inward a little bit, and I don't know if Tilly saw it at the dinner table when we were talking about rats, but his in his violet eye there's a little tear, and he raises his mechanical hand and wipes it away, and realizes that it's like rubberized, and so the water the tear just runs down the hand as he pulls it down, and
she just gently places a tissue over it.
Thank you. I am ready to pay for my sins.
Well, then what I would say to you is, do not suggest that you just take it and you take your punishment and do not fight at all for what that may be, because I think after today's events, your life can be used for something much better than just to die in a cell or die on a noose for the people's grief. Our queen is in danger. Our country is in danger. And if you're going to die today, then please let it be in service. I suggest that you offer yourself up to apprehend who I think you already know perpetrated last night's events. I think that is the way you can get out of this, and when all is said and done, if the Queen lives and we do our jobs, then you may pass your fate on to her. I think that is the only option we have, really, and I do commend you for telling the truth. I don't want you to die, Dr. VerRuckt, but if you do, I'd rather be there with you.
And another tear runs down a cheek, and he says, You are most kind, Miss Griffith. And his hands behind his back and clicks his heels and gives you a deep, solemn bow.
I think she'd do something quite unexpected. I think she'd just gently, just awkwardly go in for a small hug. Just for a moment.
And once you do, the doctor's a good 6 foot, and he's decently built, and he big hugs you back. Pulls you in for a deep hug and just nods. You can't see him nodding, but we, from the outside see him nod, like, and it lets you go and smiles and says again, thank you.
Don't. Not yet. All right? One more thing. Do you need me to take anything, medical equipment, to carry on me? Because they will strip you down before you go in. Do you want me to hold anything for you? And might I request that if things do go awry and you do not get out of this, could I ask a favor from you?
Of course.
I'd ask for your mercy. Because if this battle doesn't go correctly, and I will likely go down when there is no bullets left in my gun, I do not want to die like that. Do you understand?
If I am Sarah, and I am still capable, I have done this before. And he takes a kind of breath.
I was hoping you'd have something on you that I could at least take away.
And he does. He gives you the pills that he had given the guy who was going to hang for his sake earlier. And
how many are there? Or just
2? There's 2, but they're big, like 800 milligram type pills.
Do they have to be swallowed whole, or can they be chewed, or?
They would be very bitter, but you could chew some if you needed. They would dissolve in the mouth. Try to keep the foam in the esophagus, into the lungs. Breathe, swallow, and it will work where it needs to.
All right.
And
Is it painful?
That whole thing was very clinical. He snapped back into the tears. They were gone. He doesn't wipe them away, but they're gone. And he is the doctor again. And he's like, at first, the shock to the system, you will gasp a moment, and then the euphoria will take your brain, and you will pass.
All right. Thank you for your kindness.
Let us both hope that this day does not end with those pills. They could easily return to the battle. Or at least that's what I hope. And he smiles genuinely. Shall we?
Yeah, she smiles back.
He offers them arm.
Yes. And
you make your way back. You go back towards the gardens proper. And by that time, Delilah, you've done your dress up. You've managed to find something suitable. You're ready, you think, and the time is starting to wear on. It's a short time till the doctor's going to be taken in. You may wish to say your goodbyes. Or at least prepare to attend the trial. Francis, on the other hand, Miss Fairchild has been stood with you. He's been asking how you are, how's the weather. Sort of almost like he's reeling off the sort of book of 101 things to ask somebody that's socially acceptable is what he seems to be doing.
I love him.
He's so
what did you have for breakfast, etc.?
Fine, dreadful cape. Do I get anything off Francis with my spookum eye?
You do, but it's weird. You get some strange feeling from him, but it isn't of almost not of a super normal way. It isn't something that is spooky, so to speak. There's just something about his general aura that's a bit weird. But you've not seen it before. It's a new one.
I live in weird.
Yeah, everything is weird. She's just rolling with the punches. She'd answer his questions and ask him if he's had breakfast, and kind of look him up and down, and just be like, "Not that you look like you need extra helpings, but there is breakfast laid out."
I mean, it's a finely tuned machine, and it needs a lot to keep it going. He says as he sort of does sound very hungry, and you do hear his stomach just grumble, almost like a small dog growling with its volume.
Oh my goodness. If you go out into the garden and to the estate that I came from,
right,
you'll find breakfast. And if you touch anyone in that room, I will cut you from gizzard to forehead.
Even the breakfast?
That's not a someone, that's a something. You can eat the breakfast.
Still getting used to the difference, he says and nods before making his way towards breakfast.
There's just a silence as he walks away, and she kind of processes that sentence and is like, the boys will be fine. They'll be hiding. It's fine.
Miss Fairchild, could you help us lace up?
There's just a moment. She goes bright red, waits for that to fade, and then we'll turn and go inside, and we'll be looking at the floor until she has to look at laces. We'll do the laces, and then look at the floor.
You're very good at lacing up. You can see that with your hands.
Yes. That's why I asked her specifically. She has strong, cleaving arms.
Very strong hands.
Yes. Wonderful hands, indeed.
She risks a look to make sure they are in fact dressed.
Oh, God.
Are you both dressed?
Well, yeah, but we have...
Yes. It's like an under corset lacing.
Well, Lilith is probably, I don't know, who did we focus on first? This is very difficult. You're the guest, so I probably focused more on your stuff. So we probably already did your under corset.
Yeah.
It's probably the over one, yeah.
Lilith actually probably doesn't wear an under corset.
This will be the under and over one then, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we probably did something that's a bit more like
something about bothersome layers.
Hmm. So if that's the case, I'm in my under one and she's in her outer/under one.
Uh-huh.
Alright, as soon as the lacing is done, I'm like facing away from Delilah and just like keeping Lilith in my peripheral, but just not looking at the person who's not dressed.
Of course. And they get themselves sorted, they dress themselves as adults do, and you all get yourselves ready. You're prepared, you're dressed, and time has been wearing on.
Yes.
You do see out the window the Doctor and Tilly emerge from the gardens. And you do see the traffic of London ahead of you, passing by in the streets as usual, the carts going by.
If you're quite ready, shall we go?
Yes, thank you very much, Miss Fairchild.
Thank you.
Doing this familiar thing just doesn't make you feel much better to, dress up, Miss Fairchild.
I have a grand total of 4 complete outfits. And one of them is my night clothes. So I would say no. No, I don't dress up. I simply dress. Shall we? I'm just going to leave the room and head out into the garden.
You do so, and all of you meet back up in the garden. Francis soon walks out as well, sort of having stuffed himself quite enough. Still pops back on his helmet as he leaves, pops the clips back on as he walks out.
There's a rather interesting saying that I don't think is polite, but you are built like a marble museum, sir.
That is not the impolite saying.
Quite nice. I've had a few things said about me, but that one's quite good.
Yes.
I like obelisk. That was a good one.
A lot.
Obelisk.
Yes, obelisk. Yeah. My favourite.
Yeah, I eat a lot of things, he says. I'll eat basically anything put in front of me.
Right. Ooh, right, okay.
I'm
Interesting.
just
Did you
within reason, not like gross stuff.
I'll be right back, and Miss Fairchild's just going to like bustle over to check on Havelock and Teddy, and then bustle back.
They're sat at the table eating breakfast. They're like,
right. Nothing interesting happened. You eating everything, not just the cakes.
And Havelock looks at you and goes, A very large man walked in and took half of the table's contents and then left. He did apologise for taking so much, though, so it was quite polite.
That's
very
quite
friendly.
all right then. Eat up, don't forget to drink your milk, and she'll just walk out.
Of course.
Okay.
And you make
don't
your
know.
way out, back outside.
Yes, doctor.
Well.
Medical examination. Do you have time? I heard you had a meeting or something of the sort.
Oh, is this about the nibble? He says as he sort of dawns on him in this head.
Yes, Francis. This is about the nibble.
Right, okay. Yeah, that'll
Bite.
probably need dealing with.
Yes, that problem.
Yeah, smelling a bit different, Miss Lilith.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you.
You can detect that. Interesting.
His sense of smell is quite keen. He smells a great many things.
Like
Miss
a
Fairchild
dog.
is going to sidle over to Miss
I smell
Griffiths
most
and
things.
just say,
He says and sort of
Oh,
nods as if
God,
considering it.
What do we smell like then? I can just gesture to a merry band of people.
I'd rather not know, really.
Well,
I'm
I
very
mean, a lot,
curious.
he says, pointing at you, specifically, Delilah.
A lot.
Not much, he says, pointing at Miss Fairchild. Quite subtle. Bit of death.
oh, yes.
Chemicals, he says, pointing at VerRuckt. And not too much, he says as he looks at Tilly. Oh, and Lilith. Lilith smells of Lilith. Very unique smell.
I'm imagining.
But Lilith with a side of nibbles right now.
Thank you,
A
Francis.
side of nibbles. You have a remarkable talent, sir, for making light of situations. I do applaud you.
Indeed.
I think we should go and thank Lord Marriott. Well, I should go and thank Lord Marriott. I'll be right back.
And you make your way in, and you see Lord Marriott is at the dinner table. He is eating breakfast. He looks over to you and nods. He seems to have been entertaining Wood and Havelock. Good morning,
Good morning, my
says
lord.
the young lord.
Did you sleep well?
I slept enough. It's a difficult sleep to have. Especially with the
Yes.
news this morning. Dreadful thing, really.
Quite.
But I imagine I will have to leverage it.
How so?
I'm a noble. A few families have been eradicated that are of an higher standard than I. It is my duty to sort of try and slip in there, so to speak.
Well, that is
Be a long day.
your prerogative. I do wish you well
It's-
with it, and I wanted
I must.
to thank you for your hospitality. You've been most gracious, and I know that we've impeded quite a lot, but we do appreciate it. I didn't
You
know
did
the
get a
large
bear
man.
to steal my food this morning, and you also did
Yes.
have a lot of things happen last evening. But yes, it's fine. Just return each week and play a game with me. That's all I ask.
You might know that I might not be coming back.
Then you're
From
breaking your
tonight.
agreement, and that's rather rude. Make sure you're here next week and every week post-haste.
It wouldn't be my choice. All right.
Well, it is. He sort of
Sometimes it's-
continues eating politely.
I'm not going to treat you like a child. I think you know what I mean. But
I
thank
know
you.
what I mean
do
very
have-
well, and I won't treat you like a child either, Miss Griffiths, but there is a choice to be made, and you can make it back. The only thing that would mean that you wouldn't is if you made a subsequent chain of choices that led to your demise, which you can't do as we have appointments to keep.
Unfortunately, Lord Marriott, I can and I will do as I please.
No. He says and continues to eat. You'll be here.
Right. Well, thank you for having faith.
I don't have faith, Miss Griffiths. I have appointments, and you're booked in for quite a while.
Right.
Been a lot of shifts to my schedules, which I'm not very keen on, but that is one that stays.
Then I shall do my best to keep our appointments.
He nods politely and continues to eat. Brilliant. Have a lovely day, Miss Griffiths.
Yes, I was wondering if I might take a little parcel of food with me.
Of course, yes. Pack up whatever you need.
Thank you. And she'll pack up some of the bits of like tart and cake and stuff like that and just put that in a small bundle. Have you got any cupcakes? I know it's rather unique, ask, but...
Yes, we have some, I believe. He says and looks over to his sons and goes to the back, going and bringing out a small sort of box with some cupcakes inside.
Should be most delighted. Thank you.
Mm.
Actually, can I take 2 boxes? There's another person who would quite like them as well.
Yes, of course. He says, and you see the servant turn on their heel, go back, get another one, come back, hand you it over.
Thank you.
With no look of exacerbation inside.
Thank you. She like, if it's not rude, she'll hand them. She'll give them a tip. Just give them a shilling.
They look at it a bit awkwardly. And you do see Lord Merrick go, my political fortune's not enough, Miss Tilly.
No, they very much are, but I was being facetious with my asks, and I wanted to pay them for their patience.
I understand, but we are not a restaurant, he says as he sort of continues to eat.
Very true. Very true. Not that the bear would know.
The bear would not
Lord,
know.
it's been
the bear was savage. It was quite nice, says Havelock.
He has a light humour about him. I'll give him that. That is the
I
only
imagine
thing
there's
about
a lot
him
of
that's
places
light,
to fit
however.
humour.
Yes, most likely. Right, I'm going to leave you till morning at last. Good luck with everything, and thank you again.
And the 3 continue to chat. Teddy and Havelock continuing to chat with the young lord about various subjects as you make your way out and find the others, both of your boxes of cupcakes taking up your hands currently. And Francis sees that and goes, hey, do you want help?
No, I'm all right, thank you.
My hands are very
kind of
steady.
you.
There is still pie if you're hungry.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to visit someone today, and I'm going to take them some food. But this one is for you. And she hands over the box of cupcakes.
Oh.
Something aside to go with your pie. You know, it's customary.
Less cocaine.
To
She'll go a
dilute
little
the...
pink.
It's not
Just
quite
like
the
a
girl's
little
pie.
pink. I'm just gonna, thank you, Miss Griffith.
It's all right.
Appreciated.
It's paying in kind. You may force me to eat breakfast, so I will force you to eat cupcakes. Right. Are we ready? Where's the doctor? Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, I think Lilith
Next
had
to
walked out of the house to the
Oh,
doctor.
no, yeah, the 2 of
and
you
is
have
just
left
like,
separate.
how do you want me?
Oh, good lord.
I hide my laugh because I'm not allowed to technically laugh at that.
Doctor, you're
You're
mute from
you're
shock.
very
Doctor,
quiet.
I think you're so shocked. No words coming out of you.
Lilith
Doctor.
has that effect.
Yep.
She does.
Okay.
Quite
Better.
frequently.
Better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, whatever level of undress that the doctor believes he'll need, with the least amount of frippery, is what he would ask for. So probably he'll need to get a stethoscope against your skin on your chest.
Mm-hmm.
He'll need a sleeve up to get blood and such. And as he tells you, if you could open your top and roll up your sleeve, and he
I'll just
turns
take it
and
off. Be easier.
and he turns and he gets out a couple little instruments and he like sparks up a Bunsen burner and gets out his flashlight, his
You're not
wind-up
from the Level
flashlight.
Society, are you, Doctor? That's not curiosity.
When you say that, he flinches, and he says, "How do you know it's a level of society?"
I've had some run-ins with them in York not too long ago. There were some of them on the airship that I took over, but unfortunately, most of them just happened to trip and fall off along the journey. They got way too close to the railings. It was very unsafe.
And he was like tense, and he kept his back to you the whole time because he asked the question while he was still setting up. And when you said you had the run-in with them, and then after you say they fell off,
they tripped and fell over the railings. Quite tragic. Most of them.
Oh, how fortuitous for us, he says, like over his shoulder. And
oh, good. You're not a fan. They're awful. They have so many unscrupulous types working for them.
Yes, I had many dealings with sermons past. Very unscrupulous. And he gets out what looks like a little telescope, and he unclicks it and folds it into some kind of stand.
We had to break into the level society to get the airship to get out of here, actually. It's quite dramatic.
He chortles out loud and says, "Oh, that amuses me. Now, if you would roll up your sleeve," and he gets a big syringe, and he gets gets what he needs, and okay. It will be a minute or so, and he'll take a good look at her blood, and see if he can identify said creatures.
Okay, can you give me a very quick blood? You do. Could you give me a medicine check, please? You can have +4 to this as you've got your equipment.
Okay.
I'm going to get a bit squeamish. I'm going to just walk off. And
I imagine they've gone somewhere a bit more, indoors for this entire thing.
Not at all squeamish.
Surfaces, so they will be inside away privately for this quick.
Yeah, some at a room or something to the side.
You're borrowing more of Lord Marriott's rooms. He doesn't knock today.
Okay, so we're in Lord Marriott's manor then?
Well, you're outside waiting. Mm-hmm. As the rest came back to you, and Tilly came back with the cupcakes, and Francis is waiting outside with you, Miss Fairchild, and of course Tilly, VerRuckt and Lilith disappeared about the same time inside, just for a short time. They've said they'll be out soon, of course.
Okay. I have a question for Tilly after.
No problem. And with your 18, Doctor, you investigate them, and there is some very weird peculiarities to do with their blood, so to speak. They seem to have some strange, almost slightly bioluminescent little flecks in their blood. Very strange. You've not seen the like before. In addition to that, they also definitely have the first stages of infection with something that you've become very familiar with recently, which is vampirism. It is very early. It is only just taking seeds, so to speak.
Okay. Do I believe I can do anything about it at this point? Like a full transfusion?
With your research, which you have been doing this entire campaign with Magdalena and with the other vampires that you have found, can you make me a parapsychology roll, please?
Sure. Okay.
You can have a +5 to this.
Excellent.
Okay, on a 15. So on a 15, Doctor, you think you have a way. It would, however, be pretty painful and pretty risky, but you think you could do it. You'll need a quite powerful galvanic device, and you would essentially be trying to burn it out of her. You'd send a current through her to try and burn the infection away in a very interesting way that you've been developing.
The cells with the flecks, can I guess with the work that I did with the Level Society, does it have to do with the secret I know?
Slightly.
Okay. Slightly. So it's a question for you, Miss Lilith.
Yes.
And I assume you have your shirt off?
Yes.
Okay. And the doctor he does look and raises an eyebrow like, yeah, you are a perfect specimen, but he tries to remain a doctor first and foremost. And he'll say, and so other than the laceration here,
Yes.
any other bites or ways you may have transmitted?
None that gave infection.
Did anyone else experiment on you? They level people, for instance?
Well, so you're a doctor, right? That means you have some like doctor-patient confidentiality thing, right?
Yeah, always. I am also a psychologist.
I was held captive by a cult for a little while, known as the Dedicated of the Hemoid Octad, or just the Dedicated for short. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they were very keen on draining me of as much blood as they could from me as possible at all times for like 6 months.
Here, I'm missing one of my props here. His ceramic hand is covered in a galvanic resistant material. And he says, Miss Lilith, let us speak plainly.
Why? What did you find? Yes.
Have you been bitten or exposed to the lupine, the werewolf?
Well, yes, but nothing really like it was just playful, really. It was nothing. You're a very knowledgeable doctor.
Did you have the sexual relations with the werewolf? And
yes.
It could have
Charming
been
fellow. Wonderful desk.
Many infections can be transmitted this way. You should use the sheepskin bladders as the condoms. They make
That's
them
what I
in
usually do when
rubber
I'm in London.
but
But I was on the road.
And you have your conversation. And you don't get much more out of us that's relevant.
The blood cult. The blood cult was before the werewolf and the vampire.
And I do tell her that I do believe I can remove one of those. And as you're saying that, he does appear interested, but he's starting a case file in his head for your psychological exam.
You were like a psychologist. Does that fix amnesia?
Oh, you have suffered the amnesia?
That's what they tell me. 'Cause I can't recall anything from like 18 months prior.
You are so interesting. I hope I survive this day. For I am, and when I was in the Far East, I learned that called hypnosis and meditation, and we may be able to break through this amnesia that they.
What do you refer to as if you survive the day? Still had an appointment later?
Yes, I am going to court, and I may be hung for.
Is there a jury?
Does the doctor know enough about English?
Yes, there is a jury. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Excellent. I'll see if I can get on it. To make a very persuasive case. Let's go. I should probably head out first. Which jurisdiction?
And he tells you where it is.
You're getting tried at the Grand Court.
At the Grand Court. Okay.
Let's see if anyone has any absences today, and I could fill in. Wouldn't be the first time.
This is interesting.
I wonder if Nikki's going to be on the council.
Or not Nikki.
Robbie. I know who I'm
Oh,
talking about.
okay. You did say
Robbie.
Robbie. Not
She would have said Robbie. I wonder if Robbie's going to be on there today.
And
Let's see.
I would appreciate this. At the same time, let us.
Wait,
hope.
you're going to cure me.
Crooked jury ever. Just like, and then they killed countless nobles. Like, oi, oi.
How did all those American anarchists get on this jury in like an hour? And so the doctor is like, if it would be very painful, and it is experimental, but it can get rid of your.
I've been through very many painful and experimental things in the past 18 months. I think I could endure.
And with that, as you begin to round up your conversation, make your way out, the rest of you outside, Delilah, you wish to say something to Tilly before the doctor and, of course, their patient, Lilith, comes back?
I'm having a cat-related wardrobe malfunction, but yes, I have two things to do. One thing is to ask Tilly for a favor, just a quick one sometime. And the other is I have to go find my husband, because whether or not he has, been daggered of eternal bliss or not, I need to make sure that he's actually done as he said he would, and finding a proper, lawyer and, bribe the certain amount of people, grease certain hands.
So he seems to have
Speaking of
been busy on
corruption.
the airship, but as you sort of look over to him, it sort of jogs in his mind as he walks over and takes out a notebook and writes down something and then hands you a note. Yes, sorry, dear. I was looking at their ship. It's rather tacky, but it is an interesting concept at the very least. Stolen, but poorly made. Like a discount version of my own things. But anyway, dear, this will get you what you need.
Of course, darling. She'll peck him on the cheek. Thank you. I'll try to make sure your favorite doctor stays alive.
No, yes, please do. Use as much money as you need.
Always, darling.
I do not wish to see my doctor harm this day or any day. He has much to do, especially in light of recent findings upon that ship.
Of course. I'm not sure, but you're going to have to tell me more about it. Now, darling, do you mind doing another favor?
Of course, he says and smiles at you politely. We'll do whatever you wish.
That marvelous brain of yours, I do need you to remember everything that was there before the police stole it.
Oh, yes, I have that
Probably the name
itemized, that's fine.
Excellent. Yeah, she'll again, squeeze his hand. Right, then, I have one last thing to do. Have fun with your airship, darling.
I will, and it's not mine, but something. At least the engine work is good.
She knows.
Well, not this one. This one was stolen from me. The only thing that is good about this is the engine that Roman had designed. The rest of it is utterly rubbish. I don't even know how it got here.
Probably
I swear, if this was to go over the ocean,
engineers.
my love, this would dive into it and crash horribly and explode.
Yes! Maybe we'll need a proper one, because I feel like we should go for an extended holiday back at my home. I'd appreciate it very much.
But I'm pretty sure the Civil War is still ongoing.
Civil War or animates, darling? Make your choice.
Animates are more clumsy and don't usually have guns.
Apparently, according to Lilith, I beg to differ, my love.
Right, yes. Anyway, I must get on with this. You have a lovely day, he says, and gets back to his ship, very much consumed with it.
Yeah, I understand. Even though
about
he's
that
been
time.
mind controlled, it's still my husband.
That Magdalena and VerRuckt make them way back.
Welcome back, Magdalena. How was your blood hunt?
I mean, Lilith, I keep looking at the names to help me.
It's fine.
Good.
Fine. It's okay. Lilith, you make your way back.
Yes. And she's like just finishing up the top buttons as she walks out.
Right. Yeah. Welcome back, Lilith. Where's Tilly?
I'm right here.
Next to you, in fact.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. I was in the middle of...
You just
It's
asked
alright,
her for
I
a
can
favor,
start
turned to
being
talk to your
quiet.
husband and went, where is she?
Yes, sorry. I'm just so distracted. There's so many things going on in my head. Right. So I do have a question for you to ask Mr. Lord Marriott.
What? Sorry?
Should
What do you-
everything
what do you
go
want
fine
about?
and... Well, I was wondering if you could ask him. Could you ask him what happened the last time in the hallways?
Now, or
If he,
because we're running on short time.
or
I
were
think saying a
perhaps
fourth goodbye to Lord Marriott this day would probably irritate him. He is being very
already-
patient.
I have sort of. He's been very generous with his time, and he has been very gracious to us all.
Oh no, this is Lush. I don't like to know the
Is this something to do with last night?
No, whoever gave you that idea? What?
Because she went a little bit strange. Miss
Oh.
Berkeley.
I
She says
just
very
don't-
quietly.
You know, it's just I need to sleep. You know, everyone needs to sleep well, or
And
else
it's
I
about
get a
that
little
time
bit
that your carriage is brought round.
Ah, look at that! How wonderful. Wait, no, how horrible! Isn't this the carriage for? How dreadful!
It's a carriage for all of us. We're all going.
Yes, it's your carriage to get you
Mr.
to VerRuckt for his collection.
Quite frankly, Miss Beck, if you want to ask Lord Marriott about his past or any personal questions, I suggest you ask him. You are his neighbour. You are also more of his equal than I am. It's not my
but
place.
He's ever so fond of you. You see, fondness does actually transcend social barriers.
Not always.
Did I hear that?
I didn't say it quietly, just, you know,
I just look over and look, but
background.
well,
Fondness
Ned was
aside-
fond of me.
Yes,
Just drugs.
fondness aside, you got married to Ned, Lord Berkeley, and I'm going to marry. You can ask him yourself.
She's light up a little and think about it. Wait. He's a bit young, though, don't you think?
Yes, he's barely a man.
Maybe in 10 years I'd approve.
Oh, I would be 37 by then, Miss Berkeley.
Anything like me, darling, you'll be perfectly well preserved.
Oh, God.
Your driver
have
sits
this-
there still as he looks over and goes, "The cart's ready whenever you're ready."
Yes, you should keep
Ladies
the
and
secret
gents.
about my age secret, young man.
Mm.
Not that it's that much of a secret. I'm being.
I would not say
accurate.
anything. He says,
Thank you.
and sits
Can
down.
we just go?
Is that old?
Yeah.
Says Francis as he kind of looks at you, Miss Fairchild, confused at the age thing.
No, most women
Like, is
are
27 old?
mo-
No,
most women-
27 is quite young. What?
I thought so.
Most women don't reach their sexual peak until their early 30s anyway.
Doctor!
so-
No! No!
Really?
No,
Is that true?
Oh, if that's the case, I've plenty to
doctor
look
again.
forward to.
So the driver coughs. If we could get aboard, we can get moving.
Lady Barclay,
absolutely.
is young
Yes, I'm
Lord
on-
Barclay staying with Lord Marriott? Just breezing past that section of the conversation.
You do so, and as you all begin to get in to the carriage, just before you get on board, Tilly, a runner walks up towards you in a very fine suit and sort of nods at you very politely. And he digs
Hello.
out a letter for you and hands it over. For you, miss.
Thank you. She pays him a shilling.
He waves it off. I'm in no need. Thank you, and
Right.
have a lovely day, and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. And she'll turn and get on the carriage, and she'll just take a look at the letter.
It has a very familiar seal, the one that you saw on one side of a coin a while back. It's from the Grimoire estate.
Great. I just need to tie my shoe. Oh, no. She opens the letter. She crouches down. She has a little peek.
You look inside, and it's quite nice. It's got a lot of fond language in it, but the
That's
part that
strange.
mostly sticks out is we have a meeting arranged for today, Miss Griffiths.
Oh, do we now? Do we? Really?
And
She holds
next
up
to
the
it, you
light.
see,
What?
as you hold it up to the light, you see the coordinates of it. Coordinates that you recognize, the ones that you were told you would go to visit on New Year's Day.
Oh, no, it's not the day for this. Oh,
Underneath
goose.
the
And
Underneath that, however, in the ink, it does say, if this is too cryptic, so to speak, you could merely meet me for tea in the afternoon. And he gives you a different address of a cafe rather than just coordinates.
you insufferable man. Ask me next time. Tell your master to ask me next time if the runner's still there.
He's there. He's sort of looking at a pocket watch and he looks at yes, miss, he says, and sort of just gets walking.
Just tell him to ask, not...
What, do you want me to return a message?
Oh, I probably shouldn't. Happy New Year, Mr. Rimor, she says as she gets in the carriage.
The runner gets going as he walks away, and is quite relaxed in his pace. And you get in the carriage. And the rest of you, however, have been chattering away inside of the carriage until he steps back on.
I'm actually sitting up with the driver as I
Sure,
do
of
with
course you
my
will. Yeah, he's with you as usual. You get back to your usual chatter. It's the same one as always.
Is
He's still wearing his bandages from his injuries, and Francis is struggling to sit in the carriage. He sort of gets out because he keeps on making it go lower, and he's like, "I'll just walk. I'll find my way there."
There's no like coachman's platform on back or luggage platform or anything?
You think that would be a bad idea?
They probably break off, let's be honest.
He seems to be making it lower inside of this already. So if he sat on the back, it might tip.
Oh,
horses would wind up like
he's a big boy.
glitching.
So he gets out.
pull it off.
I'll just make my way around. I'll see you later. I'll find you.
Right, Francis. Keep safe. Remember, we're going to be at the courthouse, and she'll tell him the name. You get lost, just ask for directions.
All right. He says, as Francis
Not
begins
necessary
his...
you don't walk around in that armour and that massive gun you're carrying. You will be arrested or shot.
Oh yes.
You're
Why?
wearing Death Watch
He's a bit
without the labels on, and open guns, especially ones that look highly illegal, are
Francis,
highly
you can
illegal.
change into the other Death Watch armor on the airship. That I believe that still has the
He takes out like a collection of like symbols that he's peeled off that armor and starts to sort of like stick
What are
them
you
on.
doing?
These are right ones.
Not sure.
Yes. But no, don't walk around impersonating a Death Watch soldier. Are you mad?
They get
I'm not
very
Fascinating, though.
I'm not civilian clothes, sir.
Well, we couldn't find any large enough to fit.
Large enough. One stature.
This is my one change of clothing that I've had for as long as I remember.
Oh my lord.
You know, I could
About that, and she turns to the doctor. There might be two of us with the
Truly no.
right.
Here is some adhesive, young man.
Oh, thank you, he says, and sort of sticks the little symbols on. He seems to, at least to your knowledge, VerRuckt, as you do actually have knowledge of the Death Watch. You worked with them when their inception, and he is sticking them in the exact correct places, and ironically enough, is sticking them in a way that would signify quite a good rank, and seems to do it automatically. Doesn't seem to look like he knows what he's doing, but he's definitely doing it correct.
He's doing it right. Excellent.
Like, perfectly
Right,
right.
after this trial, we'll go get you some civilian clothes. We'll go shopping.
I'll handle that. Don't worry. Well, you're going to have to. It's okay though. You have a respirator. Oh, speaking of which, I kind of look over because we all have respirators.
Helmet. So.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I think Rouge needs a good challenge anyway. I'll contact my personal stylist for him. Don't worry. Oh, about that, Tilly, you might take that time to talk to her sometime. But about the stitching, about her style, Rouge's style. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And as you say that, the carriage rolls off, and you make your way to Dr. VerRuckt's house, where VerRuckt, upon stepping out, you find the detectives you had spoke to the previous day, the ones that said they'd contact you and bring you in, stood waiting.
Lilith gets off a block before and walks up to look like she's not with them.
Okay.
And the
You do so.
doctor took both his bags and, his harness, put the harness folded neatly in one of the bags, and, basically, to Miss Griffith, this is all of my things. Please do what needs to be done with them.
And you see
How
the
many-
detective's partner takes it.
Hmm?
And they...
This was before we got there.
Oh, before
I
then.
wanted-
thought they were
Okay.
handing
'Cause we're already
handing
here, which
me.
is why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. When we dropped Lilith off.
Quick question,
Okay.
Dr. VerRuckt. How much of it is not legal? Or is it all above board?
I can take care of anything not legal. Just saying.
As far as he
Okay.
knows, he's a doctor, and everything in there should be legal at this time.
For a doctor.
For a doctor.
With
It's
licenses.
probably best that you take things that I'm not licensed to carry, Miss Lilith. Please do not
Alright.
sell them
Oh, of course not. Why would I ever?
or use them. Just please.
I also would not use things that aren't mine.
Do not lie to me, Miss Lilith.
I'm a straight pharmaceutical salesperson on occasion, but those are acquired from a very reputable source and my employer.
You would do me a kindness if you just took them and did not speak of your activities, please.
Certainly.
Please.
And Robbie has a license. And walk off.
While they're
Just
doing
so
all this and the shenanigans are happening, can I read the note that my husband's given me?
Yeah.
While they're just, talking all of
I'd
it.
say it's already arranged, they'll be there.
She just rolls her eyes at her husband. It's like, oh, Ned.
It's very hastily written with his offhand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just, folds it. And then we'll, pull out, she has her little, notepad. She's got the ready, and she has a little, are there, these, little, are ball pens a thing yet?
They are.
Cool. If that's the case, she'll just do the thing that Ned taught her to do when it comes to crossing words out. Don't go for straight scribbles, but write words on top of them and just write random nonsense on top so everything is perfectly crossed out. And then she'll just very daintily, just while they're talking, just rip it all up. Make a little confetti.
And you do so. As you finally make your way there, VerRuckt, and you see the detectives. They take whatever remaining possessions you have, and the main detective, as before, kind of gives you a nod. The older gentleman, sort of very well presented today, though he looks a little bit tired, as he sort of gives you a nod. His beard not as perfectly trimmed as before. Well then, it's time for you to get to your court case, sir. Please don't resist. If you do, we'll have to make sure that we present that to the court.
I turn myself over willingly to Zilla.
Good, he says, and he takes some cuffs out, cuffs you. They're very uncomfortable and tight, and he shoves you in the back of a paddy wagon.
Okay.
You roll off.
Detectives, what time is the case to begin?
Roughly around 10 a.m., I believe, miss. You've got a few hours yet.
Thank you.
First jury meeting will be about then. We'll have our briefing. The court case itself will begin half an hour after that at 10:30, and after that we'll be moving into the proceedings. It may take part of the day, possibly only a few hours, depending on how things go with the doctor.
Is public viewing available?
Indeed it is. With this kind of a case, very much so. A lot of people want to see justice served today.
Is there a waiting line, a booking line for getting in?
The doctor is allowed to bring in some of his own personal guests. You'll be allowed to get in there, Miss Tilly. Don't you worry.
Right. Thank you.
Not a problem, he says and nods. As Benedict sort of looks around, we'll see you there.
Yes. Yes, you shall.
Nods and turns. But before he leaves, he turns back around, the detective. looking at you. Speaking of, actually, you wouldn't know anything about what happened last night?
Which?
Well, if
Which
you know
happening?
about both, then both. But otherwise, the main one at your friend's estate, Miss Berkeley, Lady Berkeley.
What happened to the nobles? You took them away. Did you let them go?
They're being treated at a very discreet location.
Right. So those ones are okay.
They seem it. A bit out of it. A little bit unsure of what exactly they did, but mostly in good spirits.
Understood. And I do not have any hard facts for you yet, Detective. When I do, I shall let you know.
Well then, very well. You have a good day. I'm sure I'll see you at the case. He says and nods at you before leaving.
Right, a few hours to kill. I think I shall see you all later. I have something to do. And she'll head off.
Okay. And you head off.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of you have some time before the case. Lilith, you need to try and instate yourself in the jury.
Yes.
Can you give me a very quick streetwise check?
Of course I can. First she goes to like she assumes that the boys, Robbie and the boys, have a stash near the courthouse for instances such as these.
Oh, they do.
And so she'll put the doctor's things in the stash and she'll spritz a bit of her perfume on it so that anyone else going to the stash knows not to mess with it. And then she'll take up she'll put on a wig. I'm sure she's got an extra one in there. Freshen up a bit. And then, yeah, I'll make that streetwise roll for you. 17.
On a 17, you know what you're doing. You stash it away in one of your many stashes that you know of, having roamed with Robbie and their boys for a while.
Yes.
You get yourself nicely disguised. You look like the completely unwitting court-goer who's doing their civic duty. And you get yourself nice and presented. But there are a few things to do. You know at least 5 people who owe you favors. You can probably ask a few of them. One of them is one of the judges. They could easily get you on a jury. They're not the judge proceeding over the event today, but they can get you in. Whether they'll be happy to see you is an entirely different thing, but they do.
Most people are very happy to see me second time.
You also know of a few other people who can get you the items you need, such as the particular clothing that you'll need to pull this off. And of course, a couple of other people who will be witnesses to your legitimacy.
Of course.
And some fake ID.
Yes, I can't do that part myself.
No.
So
So you have a reliable person to make you a fake ID.
Yes, I do. And she'll as soon as she leaves the cart, strolling away, she is in business mode. She's like, all right, stash, spritz, change, walk off. And
as you do, the last one that you go to about just before the court case is about to begin, about 9:30 at this point, as we skip forward with your time at the very least, you do meet the forger that you have gone to, and they do look up at you and go, "Say, have you seen Robbie yet? He's been asking about you for a while, but I out of town, and then since then a lot of shit's happened."
Has it? I've only just gotten back into town this morning.
I mean, Lower London were burning at one point, at least.
I saw there was a lot of smoke. What happened?
Oh, that's different.
Exactly?
I don't know what's happened there. But basically,
yes.
Well, there was a whole thing with the Americans in the London Reds, right?
Was there?
So there was a big fight going on. They killed a lot of them. They captured Robbie for a while. They beat him, tortured him.
How dare they?
Some widows or some shit got him out. And then he was free. And then after that, there's been a lot of fighting going on. And then it went quiet. And then last night, something big happened. There's a big explosion. A lot of smoke on their area. And it shook the entirety of the Upper London sections. It was quite the time. I believe the Death Watch have the city on lockdown thanks to it.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. I see. Well, it's a pity I don't know any Death Watch high rank in the area.
Yeah, I'm
no
sure
one's
it
heard
is,
from
miss.
Robin since.
No, not
this
since yesterday
incident?
night. No, not heard anything
Right.
from him. I was
Sure,
meant
he's
to be
fine.
delivering a few things down there, but I can't get it through. Even
What do
some
you
of them
need
all just
delivered?
scraped places. Well, just a couple of days. He was running a job,
Oh,
see. He was
course.
needing a couple to get a few people in a few doors. Got him ready for him, but he hasn't really collected, and the usual runner ain't made it.
Not even the stairs.
He can't walk up them. Not without Death Watch.
They downed those two? Good heavens.
They've locked everything. It's too
Right,
dangerous.
well-
Even if they don't see it straight away, if they found that, we'd be done.
All right. I'll do what I can to get up information and updates.
All right. You have a good day. Anyway, here you go.
Thank you.
It's
What's
all
my
right.
name?
What is your name?
On the fake ID. She's just like, all right, who am I
what
today?
What did you want?
Oh goodness, this is the fun. This is time to have some fun with something. I think.
So I'll let you think
she's-
of that.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick a
You can come
great
back.
name.
You can introduce yourself as it later, as you begin to think of what your name could possibly be. And we'll cut back over to the rest of you as Miss Fairchild, Lady Delilah, you have a bit of time until the court case. Is there any business you wish to attend to before we go to Miss Griffiths, cover that part, and then get on with the trial?
Just going back and making sure my son is still alive.
They're
Pretty
alive,
much
that's fine.
Would
Yeah.
like to ask my question to Lord Marriott, actually, and then if I have more time, do a
So you
spot
make
of
it back
reading.
to Lord Marriott, fourth time in the day. And
Well, I haven't
he-
yet.
And he sits there in his study reading, looks up at you, who's come back in, and Havelock and Teddy are both fine as well. They're in the same room. They've been keeping him company and reading and enjoying the library of Lord Marriott. And he looks up, closes his book, takes a moment to gain his poise, and looks over. What can I do for my guests?
I'll look at Miss Fairchild first.
I have no further requests. I simply came to check on
Brilliant.
the children. And she'll just walk right over and sit down with the kids because she doesn't really care about Lord Marriott.
I'm just like, oh, well, I guess that leaves me. I just, of course, wanted to thank you again, Lord Marriott, and of course, once we have all our affairs settled once more, we'll try, of course, we will repay you for your kindness. Though I do have a strange question, if you would indulge me.
Go ahead.
What happened last time in the hallway?
What do you mean? That's very cryptic of you to say. I don't quite understand.
My lady, you shouldn't be out in the hallway. Please go back to your room. You know what happened last time.
Wait, what?
Does that phrase ring any bells for you?
The phrase, no, not at all. The phrase means nothing to me, though it's very strange. Where did you hear this? And why is this in relation to my house?
Your hallway.
The hallway
And-
told you it.
No, it's the place of your hallway. What happened there?
Nothing
And
at all.
do you...
He says, very confused and almost trying to puzzle in his mind what kind of play you're going for here.
And do you recognize a woman that looks like this? She'll describe the like kind of very ladylike woman tending to Ned, except obviously without any of the ghostly features.
And as you describe them, you do see them sort of take a moment as they're taken back a little and they sit straighter than before. No.
Well, you are my gracious host, but I will not press, though I do feel slightly insulted that you would lie to me so bold-faced to me.
And I find it insulting that you would insinuate that I lie or come in saying that you have seen my mother.
That's your... Oh. I'm sorry.
Leave, he says.
She knows. Yes.
She's been gone for years and you come and insult me in such a way. I shelter you for the evening and you bring this to me.
I did not mean it. I just saw someone. I'm sorry.
He doesn't answer you. And
I'll
you see the
leave
servant
quite
very
quickly.
much gesturing for you to leave immediately.
Yeah. I
so
do
you
so
hit a
quite
very
quickly.
sore note.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Bringing up that you had perhaps seen Lord Marriott's late mother.
Huh. Yeah, she'll quickly walk off and then look around to see if she's still there before leaving.
They're not there at the moment.
Yeah, she
You
just
didn't see
shivers
them
a
in the
bit.
day.
And...
You saw them on the night.
Yeah, she kind of chews on her lip and will kind of nod at Miss Fairchild before walking away and going into her library to research on the mirror. Still puzzling this, because this is what happened to her? Did Ned ever mention anything about the Lady Marriott? I thought Lord Marriott and Lady Marriott died tragically for some random reason. But
they died tragically. That's all you were told.
what was the specific tragic reason?
He didn't really say. It happened prior to your coming here. The young lord has been, as far as you're aware, alone in the house and the lord of it since you moved here. That's why you haven't really ever seen them. They very much live an isolated life.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll puzzle this through while I begin to pick up books to research the mirrors and ghosts and phantoms and things like that.
And you get on your ghost reading for a little bit. And Miss Fairchild, you enjoy your time with your safe and sound Haddock. And meanwhile, across the city. Tilly, do you make your way to the coordinates or to tea?
Shit, I've got cupcakes. I don't really want to do this right now. Did it give me a time of when the coordinates were supposed to be a thing?
They didn't.
Or just... Great. Oh, poppycock. Right. She'll make her way over to the coordinates.
You make your way to the coordinates, and you find, as you approach, that as you puzzle your way around the city, the High District, seeing them, it's a very empty place right now. There's not too many out on the streets. There's only a few that are, and you find yourself outside of what seems to be a place called the Golden Spoon, a very nice tea house.
Here, really? Right. She'll kind of case the place, like see entrance and exits, see who's inside, if anyone.
You see one entrance, just the front. It seems to be a tea shop in the middle of multiple blocks of buildings around it.
Do I see anyone inside?
You see Mr. Grimaud, and you see two other people having sort of morning tea together and a breakfast in the corner away from them. They seem to be sort of having a nice private little morning gathering there, not wanting to be disturbed.
Really not ready for this right now. Okay. She'll head on in.
And you head in, and Mr. Grimaud looks up from his tea as he sort of takes a sip, looks over, and gives you a very polite nod. He's wearing his usual very dark suit, red shirt, impeccably dressed, and smiles at you very subtly as you walk in. Good morning, and Happy New Year. Please do sit, your tea is already here. We won't be long here before we move to a better location for you, but you look like you need a drink.
I need a lot of things.
I imagine
a drink
you do,
will be
Miss Griffith.
fine.
But we can see to one at a time as far as that goes.
Yes. Can you ask me next time?
He sort of doesn't smile, but there is a slight glint in his eye.
It is not the time for making cryptic demands of me in letters, all right? Ask me.
Very well. Next time I will ensure to ask you.
Good.
This has been a long-form cryptic thing. I didn't want to break tradition now. We were so close to the end of it that it seemed rude to break it now.
Oh, the end of it. Right. Good. I know what to expect, at least.
He nods and gestures as he sort of is munching on a scone and some tea, and you have yours across the table as well. He seems to have got a pot of peppermint tea.
She does. She softens a little bit, and she has a cup of tea. But you can tell that she's just tense.
Please, you'll need to be relaxed where we're going next. If you turned up tense, it may be a negative experience. Enjoy your tea. You've got much stress on the eve, I imagine.
Yes, I do. And I can't believe you're telling me to relax after everything that's gone on. You are either
out of experience, even when very difficult things happen, you need to try and at least maintain some sense of relaxed.
I have worked alone long enough that I have not exactly learnt that skill, Mr. Moore.
I think you're quite good at it. You're quite unflappable most days, though I imagine it's been a rather stressful time, has it?
You don't need me to answer that. You already know.
You see a glint in his eye again as he slides over a single coin, a little charred.
You should have told me what that did. I thought it just meant you'd be there to do something.
And I would do oh so well against so many guns.
Maybe not, but fire. Really.
I'm cryptic, not a fool.
No, I know you're cryptic, but you should have at least given me some cryptic warning that I would have summoned hellfire. My hand hurts.
I'm sorry about your hand. He says honestly on that part. But I wish to return.
I was going to keep hold of the thing. I'm really glad I didn't. That's all it did.
Yes. He sort of just agrees, but slides it over to you. Please, it's a gift. You should keep it. Unless you throw it away again, in which case I will arrange tea and we shall return it.
Does it... Okay, is it safe now? Is it not a very destructive weapon?
It's just a coin, Miss Griffith.
You know well as I do that is a complete lie. Stop it, she says, taking the coin.
And he smiles at you slightly, a little more nicely, a little more brightly than usual. A slight glint in his eye.
Why are you so chipper this morning? Everything is going to hell. And I know that's where you live, but this is not where I live.
I am rather insulted, I'll have you know. I live in this city. Whilst you may call this hell, I call it home. For now. He takes another sip.
Now is the time you get stiffy about me calling you the devil. Really?
He gives you a raised eyebrow with your language choice. And just sort of you can see in his eyes the
Never mind. No, I've eaten, thank you. But
are you here for tea or more? A rather peculiar way of saying things. He says and sort of takes a sip.
Even insinuate. I don't know what kind of man you are and what kind of lady you think I am, but no, sir.
Oh, I know very well what kind of man I am. I will not make any assumptions as to your own predilection.
The fact that you seem to be amused by such a thing says a lot, and I don't know how I exactly feel about it.
But how do you feel about the scones? He says and sort of slides the plate.
If it will get you to stop talking about the scones, I'll have one.
They're very good. You should try them, he says. And they are indeed very good, very nice. And the tea is very delightful. And a small conversation goes along with it. Before, after you finish, he nods. I imagine this is enough pleasantries then. To business.
Please.
Oh, I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time with my tea, he says and stands. Come, let us make our way there.
Do not make this about you or me. It's about what's going on right now. I feel guilty for being here and having a nice time at all when there are a lot of people out there having a very bad morning indeed.
There are, which is why you having a good one is all the better. There are people having bad mornings. There's going to be that all around the world, but there's people having good times as well. There's good and bad, so to speak, light and dark and all that, the duality of everything, right?
I'm not debating ethics with you. Where are we going?
I could do it for hours. My estate, he says, and
Your
gestures
estate?
as a carriage turns up.
I thought this was going to be different. Why are we going to a house? I thought
It's a surprise, Miss Griffiths.
Right, great, okay. A surprise. Okay. Because I love surprises. They've been great for me so far, she says.
I know you do. That's why I make sure they're cryptic. He says as he gestures to the cart. As his driver arrives, he's the same young gentleman from before who delivered your message. Seems multi-talented.
Your footman is as blasé as you are in a lot of aspects. Mr. Gilmore, you've trained him well.
That is what I picked them for. I'm very good at their job, aren't you? And he nods. See?
Is it illegal to throttle the devil? I don't know.
I wouldn't know either. Shall we? He says and gestures to the car.
Yes.
And you get in, and it begins to move, and it takes a few odd turns. It goes down a few alleys that are quite thin, and you see it begin to descend into the floor.
Oh, shit. This isn't some Hades and Persephone bullshit, is it? Because this is not what I planned for the day.
No heavens, no.
Forgive my language. I'm rather stressed. Why are we descending
Never heard
into
of
the slope?
slopes before, he says, and you do see you are going down a slope, though very...
All right. Sorry, my mind went
slope.
somewhere else. I can't help the imagery.
Yes, you're obsessed with this whole hell thing and this whole devil imagery.
You gave me a coin that summoned fire. You call yourself Lucifer. You make deals with people.
I'll have you know I did not name myself that.
No, of course not.
And the journey continues as you wind around a few streets that you don't recognize, even with your memory. And the directions seem odd, even to your mind. You're not recalling all of the directions you've taken until you arrive outside of a very isolated-looking, very old and slightly worn-down manor house of sorts. Part of it is burned away and seems hollowed out, but the other half seems opulent and very nice. And he goes up to the gates, and they open, and he gestures inside as you see his servants have opened the gates for you. And you're taken through a very beautiful-looking garden, though quite unkept. You make your way to a door, which still stands, as he knocks twice, and it opens. And he gestures for you to enter.
Duality indeed, she says, stepping in.
No chef's fire, he says, as you make your way in.
I was thinking you might have dropped one of your coins.
No, I don't just drop those anywhere, he says, as he steps inside after you and begins to lead you through. And you see a very beautiful-looking manor, though the sort of floor is a sort of dark tile, and there's polished and varnished wood stairs. And the walls seem similar. As he leads you through, and for a few twists and turns, as you see some servants stood there waiting. They don't look at you as you go, they're very polite. They just sort of bow their heads. And you make your way through some interesting twists and turns until you make it to what looks to be a very large wooden door with a single handle on it. And a knocker. And he gestures. And your New Year's gift.
JJ, what am I doing here?
And thank you for the raid. Hey, everybody.
Thank you. But right. Do I knock? I don't know.
Detective, can you solve this case?
No, shut up.
You see him sort of stood back as he smiles to himself and crosses his arms and just waits.
She just tries to open the door. She doesn't know. She's completely taken off guard.
And you do. You pull the handle and the door opens like a door should. And on the other side is a quite fine-looking room. And at a writing desk at the very back of the room is somebody that you recognize very well. Your tutor, your mentor, your aunt. Safe and sound. She looks up for but a moment. Oh, Tilly.
Yes, Mom. You're okay?
Well, clearly enough. Did I not teach you well enough to at least understand when I am well?
Yes, you did, Mom. I apologise.
Rightly so.
Right.
Say it as if I look like I'm harmed in some way, or
No.
God knows what else you would think.
No. I just thought that you'd been through quite a lot over the last...
Well, I have, haven't I always, dear? Come in.
Yes.
In writing, but I can pause for you.
Thank you.
Have you dropped
Most
that terrible
gracious.
detective work yet?
No.
Dreadful.
No, I haven't. Sorry. Well, I'm good at it, so, you know.
I'm sure you are. You're better as a scientist, though. You're better at some other sort of desk work, you know?
I don't enjoy...
Looking for cats.
Well, you'd be happy to know that my status has gone up somewhat in the world. I'm now looking into murders, so have that.
Oh, even more dreadful. But very well. Still, it is good to see you, she says and smiles at you very politely. Come in, dear, come in. You look dreadfully stressed and worn.
Yes, I think I am, she says, and she kind of looks at Mr. Grimoire like, oh my God, okay.
He stands outside. He waits. But you shut the door and he stays outside.
And she shuffles in a bit more. She kind of keeps her hands behind her back and keeps her head bowed a little bit.
Oh, come on. You don't need to look at the floor all the time, Tilly. I'm your aunt, not your... God knows what you think I am. Your headmistress, your... I don't know.
You're all of those things, aunt.
Yes, I might be those, but I am also your aunt and you're in a room in private. Please do look at me at the very least, unless I'm so dreadful a form to see. Perhaps you were hoping I wouldn't show back up.
No.
Oh, then look at me. Don't look at the floor. It's a nice floor. It's very clean.
Yes, I know it is. I'm sorry. It's been a very stressful time, and I was expecting to have her come and get you. Not that you would be just in one piece. And I don't know what to do because I'm also relieved and scared. Scared out of my mind.
I imagine you are, dear, but that's why we taught you how to keep your composure. That's why we taught you how to be calm, how to present yourself properly.
Well, you always struggled with tact.
I do nothing of the sort.
Teaching me that one, that was a
You're
challenge.
always difficult to teach, but it's besides the point. She smiles at you politely, though, despite her attitude. It is good to see you safe, however. I've been dreadfully worried, but it has been what it must have. I must profess, when they took me from home, it was rather stressful and rather dangerous, rough even, but I have gone through the correct medical care. Mr. Grimoire has seen to it that I had the doctors I needed, and I am making a full recovery.
Good.
Though I would request that whatever dangerous business you have, you do not bring it back to the house in the future.
I do apologize. I had no warning that they would come for you like that. You were just gone.
Right?
You put up a hell of a fight, Aunt. I knew you would, but...
I did, yes. I got a few hits in of my own, but they were very agile, very quick, very strong. I am getting on in my age. If I was perhaps a bit more spry as I was in my youth, I would have definitely dealt with it. But alas.
No, alas
Only
not.
so much I can do with this hip.
Indeed. Well, are you going to stay here for a while? Or London's
think I
not
have
safe.
worn out a lot of Mr. Grimoire's welcome, but he has not requested that I leave. If you don't have a place for me to stay right now, then I could stay here a while longer, perhaps. Provides
house
ample food and comforts.
Yes, your house has been kept well. We've done the repairs needed.
I should
However,
hope
do you know what's gone on in London?
Not a clue. No, I haven't really been in the business of knowing what's going on in London, dear. On account of being here.
Then let's just say it's not a good time to be a noble, or, well, both ends of the spectrum are doing quite poorly right now, and I do not
Maybe we should land somewhere in the middle.
think. Yes, I have tried to be somewhere in the middle.
The middle class is on the rise.
I think it's about blood as well.
Oh, delightful.
Yes. I think it'd be best you stay here until I try and deal with something.
I will discuss it with Mr. Grimoire and see if he would be amenable to my extended stay here. Then I must say the comforts I'm afforded here are rather good. I've not been waited on by hand and foot in a while. It's quite nice.
Aunt, can I ask something of you?
It depends on what it is.
Mama.
But ask first. Yes.
They're targeting nobles. And I know that she's not really anymore.
No.
But if the world goes a certain way, it will be very cruel what happens to her. And I ask her to stay here.
That's up to you. Your mother is your own business.
Right. And it won't vex
I
you too
rid
much.
myself of that far long ago.
Yes, I know. I know. All right.
It's good to see you're safe.
Even better to see you in good health, Auntie.
Of course. It was a bit dubious for a while, we could say. But I'll be fine here for the time being.
But good. Good. Well, I shall leave you to your studies.
I'm not really studying, just writing an autobiography. I've had a lot of time recently, and I've got a lot to share with the world.
Well, if all goes well, I could introduce you to quite a brilliant man. I'm sure.
Always willing to be introduced.
Yes, you and he will get on quite swimmingly. He's
Brilliant.
a renowned surgeon and an expert in the use of galvanic devices.
Well, I do like surgeons.
And he's also German. So you can talk in something
Brilliant.
that's not English for a while.
That would be delightful. It's getting so boring speaking that language all the time.
Yes. Do you know if Mr. Grimoire knows many languages?
Many, I believe. Trick him with a few. Always seems to respond with the right one.
All right. What do you think of him?
What do you mean? Like in what way?
I don't. Just your opinion of him as an individual.
Devilishly charming, intellectual, very cryptic. Very cryptic. It's one thing I picked up very much. Like a mystery that I just can't get to the bottom of, and yet
Yes, he is quite the
keeps
cryptid.
deepening, and it's annoying.
Very annoying. Yes, very annoying indeed. All right. All right. Well, I am happy to see you. despite
They'll have
my
to see
lack of.
that you're in good health and not doing too bad with your work, which is dreadful.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've said to me in a long time.
Feel free to visit again, of course. I'll be here a while. If there's stuff going on in London, I think I'll have a comfortable stay here.
Yes, well, if all goes well, we could go to Italy.
That would be nice.
My work might take us there. So do not disparage it too much, all right?
Whatever's become of it, anyway.
Let's get there first, shall we? She says as she does a deep curtsy and kind of looks at her aunt to make sure she's absolutely okay before turning and leaving.
And she's fine, it seems. She's recovered well. She's writing. She's in actually a good mood for her. Despite her barbs, as usual, she is in a good mood, and she just seemed relieved to see you well. And you exit the room, and the door closes behind you. Mr. Grimoire stood waiting, very politely. He's reading a little black book that he's got before he pops it in his pocket.
I think I've been a bit unkind to you. So sorry, and thank you, and a happier new year.
And let us look forward to one that shall hopefully be better than the last. And don't worry about the unkindness, as you say. It rarely bothers me. Rather used to the feeling. And you haven't been. You've just made constant insults about my devilish nature.
Yes, well, even my aunt's picked up on it, so it's not just me.
She's had very select words for me.
Do tell.
No. You say simply and isn't cryptic for once. No. Don't you have a appointment to get to?
Yes.
Court case.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. He says, and looks down at you.
Could I ask one more thing of you?
Go ahead.
Guys, you're so distracting right now. Holy shit, stop. You're making my hands red and blushing that much. It's awful.
See, like, just all the corners, like, fist pumping and freaking out. It's just...
so nice.
I'm just imagining somewhere in the world Delilah's vibrating with, like, there's gossip abound.
Yeah. She sneezes somewhere. Anime style.
Oh, goodness.
Over the book. Don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face. Could I impose that my mother stay here for a while until it is safe?
I have room. I can take more tenants in.
I don't mind what I don't mind paying. Anything.
See, almost for a moment, almost on instinct, almost it goes to strike a deal, but kind of hops himself and just nods. There's no need for a price. Not for this. He says with almost a bitter taste on his tongue.
Well, she totters forward and she like gently just pecks him on the cheek.
He smiles.
Thank you.
And you. Be safe.
We shall see. Do I have to show myself out? Or...
No, I'll show you out, but a good New Year's Eve kiss, he says, and leans and pecks you on the cheek as well before he leads you out. And gets you to the door. My carriage will take you where you need to be, Miss Griffiths.
All right. Yes.
And please, do be well.
I'll try.
And I look forward to whatever venue Delilah sets for our next date.
She said something about spaghetti, and I'm already tired.
Yes,
but
that is the feeling I get.
I'm sure
from
it'll be fine.
the
I'm
holiday.
sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be delightful.
And look after yourself.
I had breakfast today.
Good job.
Thank you.
Say it.
She says, and she like turns and gets into the carriage.
You get in, and the gentleman from before begins to drive, and it's a quiet journey to the courts, where you're dropped off in time. Delilah, you've been reading for a while. The books haven't gleaned too much for you, because mostly another thing is ringing in your mind. All the memories of what you saw in the mirrors before, those images that you saw, and the tailor keeps on popping back into your mind. And what Tilly had mentioned keeps popping into your mind. You don't know why they asked it entirely, or even the descriptions are still sort of in your mind. A bit strange. Rouge, the stitching, the method. Your not father who raised you. Their small little gestures, their words. You're beginning to second guess all of it. And you're getting no progress on mirrors. Most of these books speak of mirrors being reflective surfaces that you can see things in.
Finally, after getting very little progress, she'll sigh, just snap the book closed, and just rip off the cloth off of one of the mirrors after, fumbling with the locks. And places a hand on it.
And you do. On which mirror, exactly?
It's not her blood countess one, because that one's interfering.
Okay.
That one interferes with
mirror.
things. No, it's not my blood countess one. It's the one I used to show my own reflection, because then nothing ever comes into it other than my beautiful self. So,
And as you place your hand upon it, you do feel your fingertips press into it, almost like jelly. It sort of indents slightly as you do.
Yeah, she'll quietly sing as she kind of stares to the mirror and just ask, "Angel, I'm here. Will you come
And you see
out?"
a face and a form sort of appear just as if by your right shoulder, behind you in the mirror. And you see the form that you've seen from many times.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you now know as your father, though lost in these years of hatred and trapped within the mirrors. They're only reply of your song. And they look back at you. You're here to practice. Good. It has been a while since you've practiced. I was worrying you to wear out your voice.
I have practiced, my angel, but there's something else I've been looking into. The man who raised me, did he have a daughter as well? Do you know him from before?
I'm glad your practice is going well. Keep practicing, and one day perhaps you'll perform in the opera. The opera is such a beautiful place to perform. You would like it.
I would, Angel. She kind of looks a bit sadly. Seemingly her words aren't getting through to him, are they?
Seemingly not. There's something there that almost triggered something, but it seemed that it made them more delve deeper into their usual. You look well, Delilah.
Well enough. There's lots happening here. On the outside.
Bring me new songs next time. I wish to hear something new, something different.
I've been working on something, actually. It's in the
They
progress.
look at you directly through the mirror, their eyes flicking over to yours, whereas usually they always are slightly diverted, looking at other features.
It's a musical. It's not jazz. I know you hated that, but musical. It's so takes from the more popular verses and, well, it turns opera accessible for everyone. It's, well, quite a brilliant way to tell stories.
I will wait to hear it when you return with it written. Remember to practice. Always practice.
Please, Angel, can you... I know you're in there. Can you talk to me, please? Help me help you.
The song
Father?
rises, Delilah. It becomes more busy. It becomes more difficult and fractured by the day. You must practice. Bring me more songs.
She nods and will practice then and sing.
Can you give me a quick
Until
performance
it's
check,
time.
please?
Yes. I will do that as soon as I remember how much my performance is. Very good. Okay, okay. Okay, let's just... Oof. Oof.
Are you going to reroll
Snake
that, or are you
eyes.
going with
I would
bad?
like to re-roll that. I would like
Okay.
to re-roll that.
You can use a second chance. Go ahead.
24?
Okay, much better. So you sing beautifully, you perform beautifully and wonderfully, and they join in for a little while as well, enjoying the sounds, enjoying the new songs, and seem to be more alive for the moment while you do. At the end, they applaud you before disappearing.
Yeah, I'll, yeah, voice crack. I'll, throw the cloth back over the mirror and lock it down again, and then I'll go collect Miss Fairchild as she'll be on time.
Okay, Miss Fairchild, you had a good while with Havelock. Is there anything you wish to do in that time?
Just mainly making sure that the children are occupied, but as time goes on and getting closer to leaving, I would speak to Lord Marriott about Havelock staying longer, and to ask if he had ascertained a list of the nobles that are now deceased.
So you ask him this as Delilah's gone their own way, and Havelock and Teddy are playing in another room at the time, and he nods. I would not be so against having another stay here. It is a rather lonely house aside from my servants. And Havelock seems to be of a brilliant mind in his own way. The library here should treat them well.
I appreciate that more than you know, Lord
And of
Marriott.
course, you are able to stay as well if you wish. I've heard of your situation. Havelock spoke much of it.
Really?
Enough that I could glean what I needed to. I have a lot of pressure and weight in my role. I've had to grow faster. It's not so difficult for me to get information out of people, even unintentionally. Locked down in his house all the time, unable to leave or be restricted on the amount that they may read due to understandable reasons. Not that they know them entirely, and neither do I. I am not so unknown, and I am not so unversed in isolation, Miss Fairchild. I have had much of it myself. Not able to trust other nobility, other children of other nobles, or indeed anyone else of a similar way.
I do not have quite the power you have. I have done my best.
And I do not have
Given
quite the wisdom
situations.
you do, nor the experience, Miss Fairchild, and I understand that. I don't blame you at all. For whatever the reason is, I'm sure you had good ones. And the situation is understandable. But I'm saying I understand what he is feeling. Whilst it's not your fault, he needs to deal with that, and I believe I could give them at least enough space, and yourself if you wished.
I appreciate the offer, and will consider it. But
Of course.
Your power is not unlimited, and
No.
there's a very good reason he has not left my abode. And your servants might talk, and I cannot risk that. But I will consider it. He deserves more than what I have given him.
He considers it, but then changes the subject. As for the list of nobles, yes, I have a list of the families, he says, and he sort of pushes over a piece of paper. They should help you if you need.
And she'll just scan down the list, looking for anyone from a particular family. Just wondering if he's dead.
And you see names listed. One of the names you do see listed is of that family. But the one that is missing is the one that you're looking for. Seems they're not reported as dead.
Loss, but not the one I thought. Thank you, Lord Marriott. I am contracted to a family. Lord Herbert is the head of that family. I was simply concerned as to his fate.
Lord Herbert, he says, and sort of sits back a little. Interesting.
I have worked for the family since I held vigil for his daughter.
And how many years ago was this?
Several.
Ah. He nods once. I see. He just sits back and considers it. I see more reason why you did things. But yes, they aren't upon the list. Not yet, anyway. It's not complete, but I believe they weren't a part of it.
How wonderful.
Indeed.
Completely dead.
Mm-hmm. And
No,
he
really.
gets back to his writing and reading. Have a wonderful day.
The same to you, my lord. And thank you again for your help and continued discretion.
Of course, he says and nods as you make your way out.
Mm-hmm.
And each of you eventually, in your individual ways, make it to the high courts of Upper London. You make your way to the opulent building, the large steps leading up to it, the statues in front of it. And VerRuckt, meanwhile, you've been in a holding cell for hours. You've been there alone. You've had all of your equipment stripped from you. You've been dressed in a decent suit. And you're still cuffed as you wait a mull on your decisions, on what's led you to this place.
I think he's almost fighting. He's got an internal struggle with his consumed with his work going on, and the need to be done with all the distractions, the piffery as he would think of it. So So yeah, it's just sort of that internal dialogue, and I think throughout that he falls into a rhythm of kind of a Zen state, like he had learned in the Far East, just sort of a meditative state where his mind is doing its own thing, sorting through at a different level of consciousness.
You're doing that. And as you are, you feel a presence in the cell with you.
A moth. Sorry.
A moth.
It did just fly through, so okay, sorry.
And Magdalena, you wished to visit the doctor.
I did, but I was very much in the Lilith mindset, so hold on a second.
After your evening, what did you do? You had your night. You had the events that transpired. You made your way back to Archibald's. You enjoyed your early morning before Archibald retired to sleep. And you were left in the house alone.
Yeah, she had a... What was my hair? She had a nice soak in the tub, and I think as she was soaking, she started to kind of come out of that blood haze a bit. It's kind of just like, oh no. That was a lot. Oh no, the doctor! And then she like gets out, and she would have visited with her father, I think, if he was able to visit, and Cooper at least checked on them.
And you found your father resting in a deep, deep sleep, recovering from his injuries still. Though he seems to be very much on the mend.
Yeah, she would check over those injuries just to see.
Sure. Give me a medicine check, please.
Everything. Oh, you mean like a
medicine
history of vampire wounds check?
No.
Oh.
No, not a history check.
Okay.
Oh, my father is history.
Well, you know, he's been wounded a lot, so lots of wrong. Okay, I will check. So that's a straight 2d10s. I'm gonna reroll. I'm gonna reroll again.
Okay.
I'll just take it at this point.
It's bad. It's bad.
Still 3 to go.
He was wounded. He's recovering. He's in his deep sleep. It is also day, which might be why he's in such a deep sleep.
Yes.
He's a vampire, truly, not quite like you.
And then she'd find Cooper.
Cooper's sort of in a side room. It's a little room. It's kind of sat about.
Cooper!
Putting his thumbs. Oh! Yeah. I ain't seen you in a bit. You alright?
Yes, I am fine.
There's a lot of fire. Like a lot of fire.
What happened
and you
last
see Cooper's
night?
got like a chicken with him, his golden chicken he has.
Oh no.
It's kind of just
what happened
sat on his
last night with you and Papa and Irene and the fire?
There was like a lot of noise in the streets, and then Irene went to check it out, and it was very loud.
Yes.
And then everything was sort of gone. Like it was just ash.
Okay. And then
some people came in, Max, and they put me to sleep, and then I'm here.
Oh, okay. They did not talk to you or anything?
No words.
All right, so...
Only sleep.
Right.
But I managed to keep hold of the chicken.
That's very good, and she'll pat him
I'm worried
on
about the rest of them, though. I haven't fed him today.
Yes. Were they on the part of the house that was gone?
No, our house is fine.
Oh. Whew.
Only half of it's gone, and I mainly just heard Irene shouting.
Oh, that's fine. Sure, I'm sure she's fine. She has a way of Like, she's like cockroach. She endures everything and then comes back to find you later. Okay,
Sure.
Cooper. So, how are you feeling today?
Pretty tired.
Okay.
Worried about my chickens.
Well.
That's about it, really.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they are not letting anyone travel down to my house right now because of all the fire.
But I need to feed them.
I
can't
know.
not
How
feed
long
them.
can chickens live with no food?
I haven't ever looked into it.
Okay, well, it's probably, let's say you and I can live more than one day without food. We will assume chickens can live at least 2.
Right.
That sounds okay.
He still seems incredibly worried.
Yes, I know you are worried.
You've now
but,
set a time limit on his chicken's death.
You know, it could be up to like a week, but we do not know, so we will try to get down there as soon as possible to check on your chickens.
Please. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be
yes.
good. Like today? Now?
Yes. No, this, again, the Death Watch. Have you heard? You've seen the Death Watch.
Yeah, I know.
They are guarding everything, not letting anyone travel anywhere or do anything fun.
But what if I tell them
or
about
unfun?
chickens?
I told them about you because I thought you might be down there, and they were like, "We'll keep our eyes out." They're not
Right.
very sympathetic.
Okay.
Okay, Cooper. How do you feel about Dr. VerRuckt and Miss Griffiths and Miss Berkeley and Miss Fairchild? Just questions. How you
Yeah, I
how
like
you
'em.
like them?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
great. I like 'em. Yeah.
All right. What would you do if they were mad at you?
Why would they be mad at me? You say he's
But
looking
ju-
sad suddenly.
just
What did I do?
theoretically, like, friends were mad at you because you may have murdered some people. What
I
would you
never
do?
murder people. I don't do that. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a killer.
No, you're only learning how to kill vampires because you're terrible. Yes.
I've been told to not think of them as people. So I'm not.
Oh,
Because otherwise I feel
that's-
bad. Not you, you're fine.
All right. Thank you, Cooper. But if someone convinced you to do it, and you were like, it might not be so bad at the time,
Like
and then
if,
afterwards,
like if Johnny was like, we've got to go kill these people. And then we did for
Yes.
some reason.
yes, because you were very convincing, and you thought it might be good in long run, but then you
Right, yeah.
you see short term afterwards, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I think I'd be very guilty. I think
Yes.
if they were mad at me, I'd probably just tell them all of it and then say I'm sorry. And then I don't know what would happen. I hope they're not mad at me.
They're
Delilah's
not
really
mad at
pretty.
you.
I don't want to upset her.
She's too old for you.
Now?
I like your ambition. And
Mm-hmm.
she'll pat him on the head. All right, just do not tell her yet. Just wait till you're older.
Okay. I'll wait.
Okay, thank you, Cooper. I'm going to go. Is there anything you would like me to tell the doctor? I'm going to go see him.
Hello. That'd be good. Time
All
hard
right.
for me.
Okay, so then we cut to
So you cut
Dr.
forwards
Cell.
to later on. You're in the cell with Dr.
Cooper
VerRuckt.
says hello.
Well, I am very glad for the boy.
This is the weirdest
as you
mob hit
see-
ever.
So, I would like to apologize. I was unable to overthrow the government before your trial.
It is,
And I think that my methods for overthrowing the government may have been hasty and not thoroughly thought out.
these are. It is good to accept that when things go wrong, and to admit that you believe. And the whole time he's in chains. And,
Yeah.
I just like to imagine it's just like you've been told off by somebody. And it's like, I didn't mean to do it.
and to accept the responsibility for what you've done is the first step in rebuilding this self and
Yes,
regaining.
I realized this morning in bathtub. I was thinking about what you said and what my papa has said, and I think that Archie may not be good for me. I think he may be a bit too controlling.
I think that
He does it all out of love, so I think he might just be very obsessed and controlling, which kind of reminds me of Papa in a way. Maybe that's why I went along with what he says sometimes, and I probably shouldn't. But
I think that from what you've told me, this Archie, he is obsessed with you, and
yes,
you feed
I got confirmation.
you
last
feed
night.
into each other's more animalistic sides, the base instincts.
That is a good way to use words for it, yes.
And things can get out of control. Now,
yes, especially when you get cultists involved, it is like whole thing.
And what is the physical reaction with all the blood? Was some of it physical?
See, I kind of had a read out, and I actually don't remember most of last night.
It's addictive. Blood can be that for you. It's a stimulant.
And the dagger was very influential, but I'm returning it to the museum today. So I got it for everyone. You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now,
did you use this dagger on yourself?
yes. But it works differently on non-humans, I discovered. It does not have the different effects. I suspect, I'll get confirmation tonight, that this dagger may have been made for my papa, who is not at all human, and thus would explain a lot of the effects. But I felt something slithery when I used it, so hopefully you survive this trial again. I am very sorry. You were my favorite. Besides Cooper.
Well, thank you. And
But
he takes
you
that.
might have to. Yeah.
He takes that to heart, but then realizes, oh, doctor patient. Oops, I can't be emotionally involved. So he snaps right back and he says,
but you might have to we might have to get Archie has a reservoir. I'm going to raid it. You think I should kill him or throw all evidence at him and then turn him in? I don't think he would take well to that because he could just murder all the police. So
it may be that if I do make it out of here, then we would maybe as friends and companions he almost says he almost says conspirators and then realizes where he's at and what the trial is about, and he changes it to comrades, and if we will help you through this because we are your friends.
Yes. There is a slithery thing inside of me. I think I felt where it went, so you might have to partially dissect me later to get it out. You just have to have a keg. I'll steal a keg of blood, have on standby, so that you can just give me straw while you dissect, and I'll fine.
And we will study your blood first to find out if this thing is spreading.
I'm also planning on asking Papa if he knows about dagger and how to review its effects, because we have to fix Delilah's husband too. I told him not to do that, but he did it anyway, and that should have been my first clue, but he was just I was blinded by love.
Love is very powerful. And now, I do not know the complete physiology of the Damphia brain,
and it's as you're saying that you hear footsteps coming down the hall. It seems it's time.
I should probably leave. Good luck, though.
Yeah. Namaste to you too. Good luck.
I will visit your house later if you are not dead.
I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, and I'm going to return this to museum now, and then she just...
And you begin to make your way
Vampires
out as you vampire out of the room. And you vampire out. They don't bat an eye to you as you leave, as they walk to the cell, open the door up, and Doctor, you're taken into court. The rest of you have been given delightful seats. Delilah, given your status, you've been given
I have a seat on the jury.
Seat, to view this. Tilly, you also have been given the same affordance, as well as Miss Fairchild, the three of you having very upfront view of everything that's going on. Meanwhile, in the back of the room, in the jury section, right on at the front row, in the middle of a lot of unwitting people, Lilith, you stand there, disguised and ready.
I have a name tag for the jury, and it says Allison, but she goes by Allie Bywater. So Allie Bywater.
So, Miss Allie Bywater.
Yes.
You're stood in the crowd, and a couple of the others that you've been talking to so far have been a bit dubious. Most of them seemed very against VerRuckt, but how did you wish to try and persuade them in the first part of this trial?
She's going to persuade it. So she's been given the rundown of the case. She's gonna play up the criminal aspect a little bit. There was a child murderer. People really don't like child murderers.
They really don't. No,
So
that's one thing that
she's
people can agree on.
gonna be like, well, I mean, and it's quite easy to forget when you're in that, vicinity in the hedge, to not remember that you're inside rather than outside, and a warning shot is more than fair, especially in pursuit of such a heinous criminal.
And
it's quite easy to forget you're under a glass dome when it's such a realistic outside environment.
Okay, can you give me a quick charm check on that, please?
Yes, I can. Yes. Whoops, as I open up the wrong thing. All right.
You can have a +2
check.
for your argument being convincing.
Excellent.
People are indeed riled up against the criminal aspect.
Cool. Excellent. Let me just roll that then. It's just dice convert. Come on, here we go.
It's all right, you'll get there.
21.
21, okay. Half of them seem to be convinced.
Yes.
You seem to have got half in the first discussion, which is quite good. As you are stood in court and you know that some of them are on your side. And the trial begins. They announce the crimes of the Doctor. They speak through what he did. Murder, public endangerment of nobility, manslaughter, many other charges, vandalism being one of them, though light. By the end of that, you're brought up to the stand, Doctor, to state your case. Your lawyer, who, Delilah, you've managed to get for them, his name is Tate Hunter. He's an American lawyer, one that came on the ship with Delilah Berkeley and her husband. And he's sort of briefed you, and he's just like, so what you need to do, you need to not say anything too incriminating. You need to make sure that you put it in a good light, play on the noble aspect of it, that you were chasing a criminal, you were trying to bring him in, you were trying your best to make sure this city was safe, but unfortunately things don't always go that way. Trust me, I've gotten a lot of people off in the past of the law, not in any other way, and it always works. Play to their hearts, play to their souls, Doctor. And don't say anything that'll incriminate you. That makes my job real hard. And trust me, they think this is just a closed case already, so.
And the Doctor has his very German tight face going through this, and he's trying to nod.
All right. Okay. When they call you up, remember, play to their hearts. And it's at that time that you flash forward in time and you're brought up to the stand to state your side of the case. It seems they don't have any other witnesses, as they already see this as you're going to hang. There's no other possibility in a lot of people's eyes. You do see some of the family members that remain who lost people in the stands, however. But they haven't come to stand up as a witness, as all they witnessed was the roof falling, crashing down and killing their loved ones.
And basically I've been told to defend myself.
Calls you up. Dr. VerRuckt. Please, we've already heard before this the nature of your crimes, what you had committed, which is a rather heinous act, one of which has caused significant public harm. Speak your case. What was your side of this? What do you have to say for yourself?
If I may begin after the incident, and we will work our way back to. As we entered the tomb, the underground lair of this heinous murderer,
the blue cat,
the child, the noble child murderer, a foot trap, a spike had launched itself from the floor, injuring one of our companions, and I committed surgery upon them, and I swore that I would save them no matter what, even if I had to make a deal with some otherworldly power. I would save them. And after that, there was I don't know if the general public, a non-soldier, I served, if a non-soldier would know what a grenade is. Is that a public knowledge?
They all seem to understand what a grenade is. As you see sort of the crowd nodding.
This terrible criminal had placed a grenade as a trap for the door, and one of my companions nearly opened it and would have killed all of us.
And you see the prosecutor at which point speak up and go, and what of the numerous war crimes? The research within wartime behind the back of the Level Society in which you were conducting experiments on living subjects. And the crowd gasps at this. And your defendant looks at you like, what? What the? Imagine that? And he just kind of goes,
the doctor looks at him and it says, that is a trial for another time. I am not on trial for what happened 20 years ago. I served my time. I served your country, which is now my country. And I did it with honor. So the grenade was set to kill us all. When we got to the dinner table, a macabre scene was seen. The desiccated bodies of the noble children set as if they were having dinner before us. This is the kind of man we were after. This was the criminal we were pursuing. In a moment of passion, decided to try to apprehend the man and hopefully take them alive. I discharged my pistol, and only by sheer accursed bad luck did the dome crack.
And as he's speaking, Delilah, you can see sort of in between the empty benches, you can see multiple sort of spectral forms sat, watching the case the entire time. From different periods of time, from what you can see. You see some people dressed in a more Edwardian fashion, some in a more medieval fashion, around the courts, just dotted around. You see one of them turn to you and is wearing a rather interesting uniform, one that you've seen a couple of times burned on a stake or a pyre.
What does his uniform look like?
Could you give me a history check, please?
Yeah, I would give a history check as soon as I remember. Yes, it's a +2. 15, sir.
Yes, you recognize them as Guy Fawkes. They tip their hat to you.
She'll kind of like just give like a little polite nod and a little polite smile
Dreadful
before.
display, isn't it? Ever so boring here all the time.
I know you're famous for something, but what was it again? My husband.
Infamous, I
mentions you.
think, is the word you're going for. And as for what I'm infamous for, that's an entirely different discussion, but the flagstones of this place, that's why I'm here, if you're considering why.
Why haven't you passed on?
You're just asking me, not the rest of them here. You've seen all of them. There's 10, 20, 30 odd of them. A lot of them here take up the seats when nobody's in. They like to watch the drama unfold.
Yeah, I kind of make sure that no one else is like listening as I kind of lean over and just whisper, I'm trying to pretend not to notice.
Miss Fairchild and Tilly, you both see Delilah talking to an empty chair next to her before leaning in and talking to it a bit more conspiratorially.
Just pulling my glasses down. Do I get anything?
Yeah, you immediately see sort of an outline of a spectral form next to them.
Oh, good God.
Miss Fairchild, is she, what, is she
She
having a
appears to be,
business?
she appears to be communing with the dead in public.
And it's as they're doing this that
In public.
you then hear another voice cut in as they sort of put you to the side for now, VerRuckt. But before you leave, just sort of... one more thing, says the prosecutor. Do you remember the name Adam? And as that said, VerRuckt, we will call it there for the day.
You're a harsh man, GM. Harsh man.
And we will call it
my
there for now. And we'll continue the rest of this next time. So we're going to go around. Let us know what each of you... let us know what you're working on. Let us know who you are. And let us know your favorite moment or moments. And we will start with the man who may hang himself, Dr. VerRuckt.
Graybeard at Graybeard Tavern. You can look at my Twitter with that same name and check out my schedule. Next up for me is tomorrow night. I will be over on Dammit Barry's channel playing the Ghosts of Saltmarsh 5e D&D, where I play I almost said Goliath. No, a Warforged gunslinger. We have gone off book, so if you've watched someone else play Ghosts of Saltmarsh, this is different. And other than that, check my schedule. I play roughly 4 games a week streaming, so I got a lot out there, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Oh, my favorite point. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, almost forgot. Again, the NPCs are usually my favorite thing. And Chicken Boy is I want Dr. VerRuckt to live to see what the connection is going to be between Dr. VerRuckt and Chicken Boy, and so yeah, that was great. And then of course Tilly's whole interaction with the devil, sliding down a slippery slope, as it were, from chat and such. Oh my God, we had so much fun at your expense in chat today. So thank you for that. And that's me.
Okay. And
I wasn't kidding. I blushed so hard my hands went red. You guys are terrible. Jeez.
You're welcome.
I've never done that before. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Not me.
Every week from me. Yeah, every week. Sorry, I'm
You
playing my lead
started
character
it.
now.
Oh God, it's only gonna get worse, and it's worse because you've already slept with him. Aw. Nightmare. Yes, I'm Humbledore 6. I've been playing Tilly Griffiths, the emotionally wrought, distraught detective at the minute. Who, doesn't know how the heck she's gonna see it through to the morning And yeah, Magdalena, do you have to be adorable at the end of session? Do you have to do that? Like, oh, he's bad for me. Oh, I probably shouldn't have murdered everyone.
All week. I spent a week and 2 nights of dreaming about Magdalena and what had happened, and I finally settled on how she would feel.
I spent the week as Tilly being like, oh man, it's gonna suck when I have to kill her, and she's gonna test my humanity in so many ways. But that's another time and another place, another session that I hope to see everyone at. Yeah, favorite moment. Magdalena coming into the cell was it was up there with the damn, you're complicated and it annoys me sometimes moments. And obviously Delilah's continued insanity with the ghosts. Thank you for insulting our one ally. Excellent work.
I'm sorry, but curiosity got the better of me.
It's fine. I was curious too, but whew, hot box you opened there. I really need to work on my phrasing with things I found. I don't. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Jim. I'm gonna go die now. Bye.
And speaking of not dying, Magdalena and Lilith.
Yes, neither of them are dead yet. It was a real doozy for me. How would Magdalena react? And I thought about it. I thought about it real hard, and I was like, she needs to talk to the Cooper or her papa, and that'll depend on who kind of sways her. And then she needs to talk to Dr. VerRuckt before anyone else. And I'm glad she had that moment in his cell. That was beautiful. My favorite moment was Miss Fairchild's lesbian frustrations today. They just tickled me, especially playing Lilith, because Lilith lives to frustrate people and then help them relieve their frustrations. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm real glad she's on the jury, though, let me tell you what, because, whew, people are hard to persuade. I'm very happy to also be playing Lilith. And yeah, I love Lucifer, because he's amazing, and I'm pretty sure he is the hero of this campaign, and that Pocket Watch McDouche is the villain, but we'll see later. Who knows? You can find me online. Pocket Watch McDouche. I don't know his real names. That's all I have to go by for calling him. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. You can find me here on Encounter Roleplay every Tuesday playing a vampire in Vampire the Masquerade, and every here for Thursdays on Unhallowed Metropolis. Find me on my channel on Tuesdays and Mondays for a regular weekly Dungeons & Dragons campaign. But next Friday, the 27th, and Saturday, the 28th, will be our once a month Aliens and Teenagers from Outer Space game on my channel, which are a lot of fun. If you haven't seen them before, definitely check them out. One is all terror, and the other one is all 80s goofiness. Yeah, it's amazing. So check it out.
Brilliant stuff. And thank you so much for playing. And Delilah, you had an interesting session this session. Let us know what you're working on, where we can find you, and what your favorite moment is. When you can speak, of course. The first part to figure out is if you can find the unmute button.
Yeah, see, I'm one of those horrible fiends that have about 30 tabs open, and I lost my tab.
The horror of this campaign is your amount of tabs right now.
Yeah, so it just kind of disappeared on me. I was like, oh no, I'm quite sure I'm muted, oh no. Okay, so, alright. Favorite moment of this session was probably my ship sailing with the cute little New Year's kiss. I'm like, yes, I approve, yes. But favorite NPC moment was Francis. I adored him from the other stream.
I love Francis. He's always my favorite. Sorry to interrupt. But I love him so much.
No, see, this is how I feel about him. He's like so precious. He's a precious. I don't know what he is of a man. He's huge. Probably not the best way to like. Anyways, yeah, no, he's amazing, and I love him so much, and I will protect him. Also, my ship, so good. I'm definitely shipping. Yeah, but still, I do apologize on Delilah's behalf. Upsetting Lord Marriott. Not the first time she's gotten in trouble over questioning ghosts, but more on that later. As for who I am Loria Lark, and you will occasionally find me posting on Twitter. I am slowly going stir crazy from this whole thing happening in the outside world, so you might see some pictures of fan art from the games I'm in maybe one day. I'm also working on this song, which I probably should get back to. Oh well.
Okay, no problem. And thank you very much for playing. And finally, last but certainly not least, Miss Fairchild.
I'm so happy to be back. I'm Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok now at Shakespeare. I have posted some Miss Fairchild stuff, which I'm stupidly proud of. But yes, I don't play in any other stream games at the moment, so this is the only place you can find me, so please come back next week. Favorite moments, there were just so many. Everyone was wonderful until he said stiffy across the table from the devil. It was just magnificent, this whole session. But I have to say, if picking a favorite moment, I absolutely adored Greybeard's description as the Doctor took himself back in his memory and spoke about why he appears to be the way he is, and the description of the snow globe. It was just one of those moments where I forget that I'm actually playing a game and think that I'm listening to someone telling me a story, and it makes my little heart happy. It was just really beautiful, and I love kind of cinematic moments, so that's definitely my favorite bit. Yes.
Brilliant. And as usual, it's amazing to have you on stream, and I'm so happy to have Miss Fairchild back and yourself back on stream. We missed you last time when everything went to hell.
Oh, yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have the granny lesbian around. It just all goes to pot.
We didn't have Granny here, so that unfortunately meant everything went wrong. But yes, okay. So thank you to all my wonderful players. And before I leave you tonight, we've been having votes in the chat based on corruption and redemption. And redemption is today's theme, as everybody is working towards that themselves. And we had a draw on the vote, I believe, which was between Tilly and VerRuckt. And given it's rare that a tie happens, and given we had such a nice ask in the chat to give both of them redemption, I think in the spirit of the game, we'll give both a redemption today. So Ban and VerRuckt lose one of their corruptions and fend it off for now, which they may need in the next sessions to come as their lives are on the line. But I'm a Hollowtail. Thank you for watching the game. I love running this, and I love this cast, and everybody in chat, you've all been amazing. Definitely come back next week, same time, same place, and we'll be continuing this story with the end of the case of Dr. VerRuckt and moving into the next part of our adventure. So you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Hollowtail if you want to see any of my other stuff, including an audio drama podcast that I do, which is fueled by the Savage Worlds role-playing game system in an original dark fantasy world called Tales from a Hollow World, which just released its 4th episode, which is quite the episode. It has a lot of crunching noises in it, I'll put it that way. So go and check that out on my channel if you can. And if you like this game, there's another game on there as well, and all the VODs for this series if you want to catch up on the Encounter Roleplay channel as well. So until next time, thank you very much everybody who's tuned in today. We'll see you next week. Beware what goes bump in the night, and make sure to wash your hands and don't touch your face. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Unhallowed, unhallowed. Story of some friends investigating mysterious happenings in Metropolis, and the Franks and the spooks don't stop, and they gotta deal with Chicken Boy and Great God while protecting all the family and friends, new enemies and old, keep attacking them, and everything's fighting for their attention. And there's a deity called the Great Bot that I mentioned. Unhallowed, unhallowed.